It's time for exciting high school football on Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI, your local station providing you with free coverage for nearly 50 years. Now, let's go to the field for tonight's broadcast.
Good evening and welcome to Fairland in western Shelby County as we get ready for tonight's 2026 high school football season lid lifter between the Batesville Bulldogs and the Triton Central Tigers. Tonight's game is brought to you on 103.9 FM and the WRBI app by Whitewater Motors, Hurt and Elko, Franklin County Farmers Mutual Insurance Company, Ripley County Community Foundation, Batesville Dental, Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Doug Sherwood, Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep, Decatur County Memorial Hospital, Bruns Gutzwiller, Ivy Tech Community College, Gehrings, Vagley Napa Auto, Ison's Family Pizza, Andrus Weistefeld Funeral Home, Fleetwood Chevrolet, Margaret Mary Health, Great Plains Communications, and Moore Law Office. Along with site engineer Annie Nunley and color commentator Rob LaFerry, I'm Tom Snape. We bid you welcome to the opener of the 2026 high school football season as we get ready for a matchup tonight between the Batesville Bulldogs and the Triton Central Tigers, two teams that played a good one last year. However, Rob LaFerry, Batesville coming out on the short end of the stick last year.
Yeah, they did, and it was actually really the only weak spot in a season that began at 2-1 for the Dogs, and then all of a sudden everything just spiraled out of control. On the flip side, a year ago, Triton Central double-digit wins. They played in the sectional championship for a 12th consecutive season, but a lot has changed since then, especially when it comes to the Batesville Bulldogs. Just 3 wins ago, they had inexperience, they had injuries, they had some other issues they had to sort out. There's no excuses in 2026. Batesville's ready to go back to winning right now. Triton Central lost a lot from a very strong senior class. They lost their top running back. They lost a top receiver. They lost top guys defensively. They're trying to have to fill all those gaps, but we know Triton Central's a mainstay program. They're looking to reload, not rebuild.
And also losing their head coach, Tim Abel, retiring after 13 seasons, 33 years all told, with stops also at North Davies, East Noble, Decatur Central, and New Palestine. And he had been at Triton Central since 2013, but new head coach Tim Kegley, the defensive coordinator for the Tigers last year, taking over a squad, as you mentioned, Rob, went 10-2 and in the sectional final where they lost to LaPel.
Yeah, and the good thing is the coach Kegley coming in as the previous DC, he's already said, I'm not going to change the defense a ton. We're going to run that same scheme we've been running with me at the helm at the defensive side of the football. Triton Central's going to run their patented 3-4 defense. They've got some weapons back defensively, which is going to carry them, and it's going to have to until they can figure out who's going to step up on offense.
All right, so both teams are heading back to in fact, Triton Central already back in the locker room. Batesville heading back as they get ready for last-minute preps. With that, we're going to go ahead and step aside and have a 2-minute timeout. We'll hear from the head coaches. It'll be Evan Ulrey from Batesville and Tim Kegley with Triton Central. After this timeout, you're listening to high school football on 103.9 FM and the WRBI app.
Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep is a proud sponsor of local athletics. I'm Michelle Galk, and at Batesville Chrysler, we value this community and the relationships we've built with our customers. As your hometown car dealer, we understand the importance of staying connected to the community. We commend all our student athletes and their hard work and dedication. That's why we're proud to sponsor local sports coverage so that fans can stay connected no matter where we are. Remember, you can buy a car anywhere, but when you buy at Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep, we can all work together to support the future of this great community.
At Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, we're good at insurance. But not just any insurance. We're good at...
when the forecast calls for cheese ball-sized hail insurance.
And even... shouldn't have parked under that tree. Insurance. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
See your local Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent, Doug Sherwood, in Greensburg. Call 812-663-3595.
When you schedule an annual wellness visit with your Decatur County Memorial Hospital primary care provider, you can receive the most up-to-date report on the status of your health. Your family medicine provider's care is a fundamental to staying well and catching problems early. Routine preventative care can help save your life. Schedule an appointment with your DCMA's provider today.
Hey football fans! While Ivy Tech Community College doesn't have a football team, what it does have is your play to a great future. Earn a short-term certificate to quickly get into a high-wage, high-demand career. Earn your associate degree in a wide variety of programs for a more affordable transfer to a bachelor's degree. Classes are offered in person and online at the Lawrenceburg and Batesville locations. For more information, email r11express@ivytech.edu.
Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI.
Them, at least what your coaching staff has found this year?
Well, I mean, obviously Tim Kegley is their new coach, but he's been their defensive coordinator, and I've known Tim, and he is a really good guy, and just hard-nosed, tough, discipline, and that's what you're going to expect from a team. They're not going to beat themselves. They're going to get after it. They usually hung their hat on the defense last year especially, and they got some guys back from that group. So, it's just one of those games where we got to come in week one, and execute our game plan and be clean. That's always a fear, in these early games, right, is just doing just that. So with an opponent like this, you got to come in, I think, mentally focused, locked in, and just execute what we do really well and put ourselves in position to win. And I got a lot of confidence in our guys in doing just that tonight.
And then based on what you saw in the preseason camp and then the scrimmage last week against East Central, your thoughts on your team coming in?
Well, I think the positive is I feel offensively we're going to have good balance. When you have a veteran offensive line with 5 guys who've started, and Camden Kaiser, Lance Weiler there on the left side, that's a quite a tandem. I'd argue that's one of the best left sides probably in the area. Then Ethan Volan's a 2-year starter, Tanner Wells 2-year starter, Matthew Mayer 2-year starter. So you got guys across, and then oh by the way, you got Dylan Shane and Zayden Small in the backfield, and then Calvin Padgett. I thought had a really good summer off season. I thought he played really well last week. We saw some really bright spots, not just showing off the arm and stretching it vertically, but a lot of it was just his ability to move in the pocket, extend plays, and find multiple receivers. He did just that and finding, I think, 4 different guys the ball. So very pleased that. I think defensively, I love the way we've been aggressive. We've got a great energy. We do the same thing. Got a balance of a lot of guys with experience, and I'm excited to see some of these guys back off injury, like a Max Meyer, in the back end. He missed the second half of last year. But our tackling was probably, if I'm going to say it was a negative that we had last week, weren't very clean and weren't very good. So tonight, we got to get to the spot and finish plays, swarm the football, and do just that. And if you remember last year, they converted on a 2-point conversion, and tackling was horrendous on that play, and we ended up losing by 1 point. So, and that changed the whole complexion because they were able to kick a field goal. So it's going to be little things. It's little things, plays here and there that sometimes you look back that, is a turning point. So just want to, start fast tonight, and playing clean football and get to 1-0.
All right, we appreciate your time. As always, good luck and have fun.
All right, thank you.
Once again, our thanks to Coach Evan Olry of the Batesville Bulldogs for joining us in tonight's pregame show. We'll be back with more after this on 103.9 FM and the WRBI app.
Simmer and sear with confidence using a Maytag freestanding electric range with 5 elements, including a 9-inch and 6-inch dual choice element, variable broil, and warming center. You can knock out mealtime in no time. The steam clean cycle and fingerprint resistant stainless steel finish makes it easy to keep clean inside and out. Shop Garings today. Garings and Maytag, 316 North Main, Batesville.
Visit your local Napa store, Vaguely Napa Auto in downtown Batesville. Browse their circular and check out their specials, like gallon jugs of Rain-X washer fluid, just $4.99. Select PB Blaster products, $6.29. 200 sheet boxes of Scott Shop towels, $14.99. And select varieties of Seafoam products, starting at $8.99. You can do it yourself with expert advice and Napa know-how from the parts professionals at Vaguely Napa Auto in downtown Batesville.
It's back. Our delicious chicken bruschetta pizza is back. Cecil Ison from Ison's Family Pizza in downtown Batesville. The savory pizza with white garlic sauce, seasoned chicken, mozzarella provolone cheese, tomatoes, and fresh basil, all on our fresh in-house made dough. Come try this or any of Batesville's best pizza at 117 East George Street, IsonsFamilyPizza.com, 812-933-0333. Ison's Family Pizza's famous chicken bruschetta pizza is back.
A family-owned business since the 1800s, Andres Wiestefeld Funeral Home is there in your family's time of need. Nicole Wiestefeld is the family's fifth-generation funeral director.
Working alongside my dad, he taught me the importance of treating every family like my own. So I try to live by that philosophy every day.
They customize their services based on your loved one's individuality. With funeral pre-planning and online planning available, Andres Wiestefeld Funeral Home in Dover at the corner of Route 1 and North Dearborn.
Your free source for local sports, WRBI.
And we're joined at this time by the head coach of the Triton Central Tigers, Tim Kegley. And Tim, congratulations on being elevated to the coaching position, but head coaching position after years as defensive coordinator. But your thoughts on your team as far as coming into the season based on what you've seen?
Overall, I would say, well, first, thank you. It's a blessing to be in this position. As a graduate, and then kind of having different stops at other schools, and then being able to come back, it's been awesome. As far as this team is concerned, we lost a lot of playmakers, and so we've got some playmakers, but they've only done it on Saturdays. And so my challenge to them is that you need to prove you can do it on Fridays. This year we've got at least the strongest, biggest offensive line we've had, but in our scrimmage last week, we did not show that. And so that's kind of the challenge tonight. Can we match the physicality? Can we move the line of scrimmage? Can we get to the second level? And if we do that, and we're not giving up, explosive plays, we're going to be right in it, just like all the times we play Batesville. It's back and forth, and yeah, I'm excited for the opportunity. And it's a great opponent, too.
And speaking of your opponent, the Batesville Bulldogs, what is it about them that jumps out at you and your staff?
Oh, their size. Their offensive line, their size, the running back. I don't know how good number 4 is yet, but he's a tall kid. So just game planning for people that could potentially be explosive, because you don't have a lot of film to go off at this point, is really always kind of a concern. Are we preparing for everything possible? No, you never do. That's kind of like how the first game goes, and really any game. I mean, somebody could throw something at you haven't seen them do on film, but overall I know they're well coached. I think last year we won by 1. 2 years ago they won by 7, but that was a tight game too. So I'm just excited for the opportunity to see what my players are capable of, because I've been with them a long time, previous years and in the spring and the summer. And it may sound like not a positive thing, but I really don't know yet. I really don't know yet. And so it's going to be exciting just to see it all play out tonight. And hopefully we respond well.
Well, we appreciate your time. Good luck, and as always, have fun.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We don't sell you cars, we help you buy them.
Fleetwood Chevrolet at 950 North Michigan Avenue in Greensburg invites you to visit them. They're here to help you with your next new or pre-owned vehicle purchase, as well as all your service and parts needs. They're the home of Greensburg's only drive-in service lane and free oil changes for life with the purchase of a new vehicle. Give them an opportunity to earn your business at Fleetwood Chevrolet.
We don't sell you cars, we help you buy them.
When it comes to you and your family's health, finding a primary care provider you can trust makes all the difference. At Margaret Mary Health, our providers aren't just here for you when you're sick. They're dedicated to being your long-term partners in health. If you're looking for a medical provider to help keep your family well, give us a call or visit us online. Our primary care providers are accepting new patients in Batesville, Brookville, Osgood, and Milan. Margaret Mary Health. Generations of care.
The most and best high school sports is on WRBI.
And welcome back to Tiger Stadium at Mendenhall Field in Triton Central High School as we get ready for tonight's season opener between the Batesville Bulldogs and the Triton Central Tigers. Some other games tonight around the area involving teams of note. The Lawrenceburg Tigers visiting the East Central Trojans. That game on the WRBI app. Rob Moorhead and Jerry Stinger are your congenial announcers for that pregame at 7:10. So if you're waiting to hear East Central and Lawrenceburg, we'll get you to St. Leon at 7:10. Elsewhere, the Civil War game in Westport, North Decatur at South Decatur, Greensburg just a few miles from here at Shelbyville, Newcastle at Franklin County, Milan at Rushville, South Dearborn hopped the bus all the way to Morrow, Ohio, east of Cincinnati to take on the Little Miami Panthers. And Richmond is at Connorsville. Of course, we will keep you updated on scores throughout the evening. And, of course, we'll also have scores later on tonight. They will be posted later tonight on our website, WRBIRadio.com. And, of course, we'll also run down those scores for you tomorrow morning during your local sportscast on WRBI.
Yeah, you take a look at that slate. It is a huge week number one for a lot of teams, and there's a lot of different storylines. Lawrenceburg East Central, as always, feels like that premier game because you've got the two Dearborn County schools. East Central, depending on the poll, is ranked number 1 in Class 4A. Lawrenceburg is ranked number 3 in Class 3A. We're going to see if it's finally the year that someone is able to dethrone East Central in southeastern Indiana, but the Trojans are awfully good again against Jake Miners. You've got a Milan Indian team where expectations are extremely high for Ryan Lankfordman and his team after coming one game shy of playing for a state championship. North Decatur would like to get back to a sectional championship status in Class A, but I tell you what, after talking to Eric Galt this week on Coach's Corner, who's the new head coach of South Decatur, I am really excited about the direction South Decatur is heading. North Decatur's been the dominant team the last couple of seasons, but there's a young crew in, more numbers for South Decatur. Coach Galt is going to turn some things around. You mentioned a couple of those other games as well. Greensburg of Franklin County, we're going to find out what they're all about. It may take a few weeks, but those things with Coach Gilman and also with Coach Sliger, those are going to turn into positives because we've seen them do it every single season.
And the captains from both teams are out on the field. Batesville will be dressed in white from head to toe, the white helmets, jerseys, and pants with the royal blue letters, trims, and numerals. The Triton Central Tigers with white helmets with the green logo and the black stripe. They have the Kelly green jerseys with the white numerals and the black pants as we get ready for the see who ends up winning the toss and whether the team that wins the toss decides to take the ball or defer to the second half. So we'll see how that shakes out here, Rob.
Yep, going to go ahead and give both teams just a few regular season opener reminders. Of course, both of these teams had a chance to scrimmage this past week. Triton Central actually scrimmaged Milan. Batesville, meanwhile, took on East Central over at the Dog Pound. So there's going to be that rust. We see it every single season. We know penalties could pile up as well. But as the year goes on, those things should be lightening up a lot.
Yep, and a little warm. It's not unbearably comfortable tonight as it typically is in week one, but there's another thing to keep an eye on, cramps, see if that happens to play and if there's stoppages. But I don't know that you'll necessarily need water breaks, but I would not be surprised if you see a few during tonight's contest as we see the Triton Central won the toss. They have deferred to the second half, so they will kick it off, and Batesville will get the ball first. And the Bulldogs will be going from right to left as we're looking at things here at Mendenhall Field at Triton Central.
And with the start of a brand new high school football season, do not forget, football fans, that as we cover the Batesville Bulldogs this season, that you can join the Bulldogs in their fight to turn over hunger in elementary schools across Ripley County. You can donate through the Ripley County Community Foundation by visiting rccfonline.org. All proceeds go toward ending food insecurity for students in need, and that will be money donated after every forced turnover by the Bulldogs this season.
All right, so Batesville breaks the huddle across the way from us. They are ready to receive the kickoff, and it will be Evan Mitchell will be doing the honors for the Triton Central Tigers. He is a 6-foot, 155-pound junior, and he's also known to handle the punting duties, but primarily the punter for the Triton Central Tigers is Luke Strong. He's the senior wide receiver. And, of course, Strong also a two-way player, as a lot of players are typically at the 2A level. But, again, Rob, this is a Triton Central team that is a quality 2A opponent no matter how you slice it.
12 straight sectional championship game appearances for Triton Central despite losing the last 2 title tilts against LaPel. We'll see if the Tigers can make it 13 in a row this season. Can Batesville get back to a sectional championship status? We got 12 minutes of Indiana high school football on the clock. It is week number 1 of the high school football season. Annie Nunley is to my right. I'm Rob LaFerry, and back again for a second straight year, my partner, our play-by-play guy for the 2026 high school football season, none other than Tom Snape.
Thank you very much, Rob. And back deep for the Batesville Bulldogs are Zayden Small, Ajon Herbert, and Rylan Yeager. And they're all inside the 5-yard line. So, and of course, we mentioned the kicking job at Batesville with Brady Wanell. Seemed like he had, 6, 7, 8 years of eligibility or whatever it was. But it's going to be a new deal back there with the kicking job. Ronan Post and also Cohen Flannery from the Batesville soccer team sharing those. However, I will tell you that watching Ronan Post, he nailed a couple of 52-yarders in pregame warm-up. So something to keep an eye on, something to file away in the memory bank. And with that, we're about ready to get things underway, get this 26 football season underway. And here we go. Mitchell advances on the ball. High end over end kick gets fielded at the 10-yard line. And to the 15, the 20, kicks out to the 25. To the near side is Ajon Herbert and shoves a man out, gives him a little shove, but he ends up getting knocked out of bounds by special teams. And that coverage by Knox Cohen for the Triton Central Tigers, but a terrific return in Batesville in really good field position here, starting out around the 30. They're going to move back to the 30-yard line, actually, say where he went out of bounds.
And out comes a Batesville offense, which last year struggled because of inexperience, but they have all kinds of weapons at their disposal, and possibly the biggest one, I know literally the biggest one, that O-line, they can open up some gaps.
Yeah, they do have some road graders up front, and it is the quarterback is Calvin Padgett, the 6'2", 200-pound junior. He hands it off to Zayden Small. Small dances and gets it outside the numbers and gets it to the 31-yard line. That is it. Nice picket fence there, a green wave of Triton Central Tigers to meet him on that sweep.
Well, if there's a guy that Triton Central can prepare for, it's going to be Zayden Small, because we saw him last season, and we saw a lot of games out of him. He played just 8 last year, but rushed for nearly 1,000 yards, double digits in touchdowns. He is going to be a huge option in the backfield for Batesville.
Jackson Elson split to the far side. Jake Shornick along with him. Shornick lined up in the slot. Backsliding up in an eye. Padgett with the handoff goes straight up the middle and dancing his way across into the about the 35-yard line. And got to give the ball to Small once again. So Small, they're going to mark him down at the 36-yard line. So pick up 6 on the play. And that's going to present a 3rd and 9. They're going to call for the ball at the 36-yard line. Just underway here in quarter number 1 between Batesville and Triton Central here in western Shelby County. Rylan Yeager will line up in the slot up top. Big Jackson Elston lined up to the far side. Backs in the eye. Padgett under center. Fakes a handoff, play action, looking up top, and goes over the middle, and it is all knocked away. Good defensive play there. He had, number 4.
It's going to be Yeager.
Yeager. Yep. Rylan Yeager was the intended receiver. Had him momentarily, but well defended back there. And by the Triton Central defense, Cooper Marlin defending for Triton Central. So the incomplete pass. And it's going to be a 4th down situation for the Batesville Bulldogs.
I'm going to actually retract my statement, because that was Jackson Elston who was the intended receiver there on the throw. Padgett had him, but you're right. Good coverage by Triton Central in the secondary. And now we will see what this new-look special teams can do here for Batesville. Can they boot one back and pin Triton Central deep?
Isaac Lemmel gets off the punt, and that's going to squirt back to the inside the 30, and taking it to 35 to the 40 to the 45, and finally got to be wrestled out of bounds is the punt returner for the Tigers. And that was Dylan Showalter, the 5'10", 160-pound junior with the return. And he gives Triton Central excellent field position. And they're going to have it at their own 48-yard line for their first drive of the ball game.
Well, when you take a look at the punt return, it looked like maybe a bit of a bobble there because it went off the side. It was kind of hard to read off the punt by Lemmel. But credit a lot of blocking up front. It allows for extra space. We talk about Triton Central. They lost some firepower, especially on offense from a year ago, but they do have a quarterback returning. That's the senior Matthew Wilkins. However, important to note, first game back since an ACL injury in the sectional championship.
So Wilkins, the 6'1", 175-pound senior, under center. They send a man in motion. And go to the right side with it, and got to lose yardage, actually. Got to lose about 2 yards on that one.
It's going to be Landon Ball with the carry, and he had nowhere to go on the far side.
Yeah, well defended by the Batesville defense.
Looked like Bryson Hageman might have been in on that stop for Batesville, which is going to be a name that you hear often this season. They're going to go ahead and take Weston Smith out. He was lined up at tight end. He will step off to the sideline.
So 2nd and 12, a loss of 2 on the play. Ball at the 46-yard line of the Triton Central Tigers. Twins on either side of the formation. Operating out of the pistol is Wilkins. They send a man in motion. That is Showalter to the near side. They swing it out to Showalter. He hauls it in at the 48, gets away from one man, and gets it into Batesville territory before he finally is taken out of bounds around the 41-yard line in Batesville territory.
It's going to be Logan Schneider who finally is able to push him out of bounds. Wilkins, before injury and after being hampered a little bit during the regular season, nearly 2,000 passing yards. So you know he's got an arm. He's got a couple guys that he can target that had some catches from 2025.
So a 1st and 10, Triton Central at the Batesville 42-yard line. They have triplets up top of the formation. Triton Central going from left to right. And operating out of the pistol is Wilkins, and we've got a momentary stoppage in play here.
Looks to be a little equipment issue. It's going to be number 5, Dylan Shane, who's got to come off to the sideline. And it looks like Batesville's going to bring in number 26. That's Jeff Gertzbauer.
Okay, so Shane makes his way across the sidelines to the Batesville bench. And it is 1st and 10, Triton Central at the Batesville 42. Operating out the pistol is Wilkins. Claps his hands, fakes the handoff, rolls out to his left under some pressure from behind, looks, fires up over the middle, and it is caught and all over the hands through the intended receiver. Almost caught there by number 11, and that is Henry Kemper. So Kemper had it momentarily and just dropped it at the G-type there in the end zone.
Yeah, that is what you call having a hole in the basket, because that was a wide open throw. Receiver has it, and it just goes right through the arms. Missed opportunity for Triton Central. Just enough time there for Wilkins to throw, because there's a couple Bulldogs, including Clayton Kaiser, coming after him, the freshman starting on defense. 2 freshman starters on defense for Batesville in 2026, Kaiser and Logan Schneider.
Yep, 8 returning starters on the Batesville defense. Once again, Wilkins out of the pistol. Has a man behind him and has got a handoff going right up the middle. All kinds of hole and all kinds of daylight down to the 30. And finally going to be wrestled down is Landon Bull, the ball carrier, the 5'11", 185-pound junior. And he snakes his way all the way down to the Batesville 31-yard line. Fresh set of downs for Triton Central.
Well, and you take a look at Batesville up the middle, you've got strength, but it's mostly athleticism, and Ball is just kind of a bruiser back, and he's able just to muscle his way through. So Triton Central just continues to move. You don't want to be too negative on the first defensive series of the year, but you also kind of get an idea of where Coach Ulrey was in the pregame, saying, hey, we did not tackle very well in the scrimmage. We've seen that on a couple plays here early in the first quarter.
Single wide to the near side. That is Luke Strong. Triplets up top. And we've got a stoppage in play before the play can get off, and then that's going to be
false
first false start against the Triton Central Tigers.
I wasn't laughing at the penalty. I was laughing at the fact that the official blew the whistle and then had to try and dig the flag out of the pocket of his pants. So, hey, he's not used to throwing the yellow hanky in the offseason, so even the officials got to knock off a little bit of that rust too.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was you're exactly right. That was a very delayed getting the launching of the yellow. So it'll be a 1st and 15, Triton Central at the Batesville 36-yard line. Wilkins out of the pistol. Claps his hand, low snap, fakes the handoff, rolls out to his left, looking, and under a lot of duress, and finally got to kick it to the outside, and he'll get back to the original line of scrimmage before he's forced out of bounds on the far sidelines. And not able to find those receivers downfield, well covered by the Batesville defense.
Not only do you have athleticism with Batesville's defense, but you do have speed.
Yes. So it'll be a second and 14. Yeah, looking right into the sun at that scoreboard.
Yes.
So 2nd and 14 at the Batesville 35 for the Triton Central Tigers. They now split triplets to the near side. Operating out of the pistol is Wilkins. And stoppage in play.
Official's going to confer over on the far side, so we'll get this sorted out. If it is a flag, it would be the second of the ball game. Now I see the flag over on the far side. False start again on Triton Central.
Yep, that's 2. So Triton Central moving on offense, but also shooting themselves on the foot with a couple of false starts. So that's going to take the ball back to the 40-yard line of the Batesville Bulldogs, and that'll now be a 2nd and 19. 8:21 to go in the opening quarter. No score between Batesville and Triton Central. Wilkins out of the pistol. 3 to the near side, fakes a handoff, rolls out to his right. Looking, directing traffic, now fires upfield along the sideline and over the head of his intended receiver. And once again, trying to get Henry Kemper along the near sideline, and a little too much mustard on it.
Yep, overthrew that one. And again, Kemper was able to find himself open, this time on the sideline. So now a long 3rd down here for Triton Central. It's been a long series for the Tigers, but can this Batesville defense finally stand things up and force a 4th down?
So clock stops on the incomplete pass with 8:03 to go in the opening period. No score. 3rd and 19. Triton Central at the Batesville 40-yard line. Tigers break the huddle. And once again, it will be Wilkins operating out of the pistol. Claps his hands. Snap back to him. Looking over the left side and caught along the far sideline.
It might have popped out. We'll see
I
if
think
they
it did.
ended up saying incomplete. I think they're going to. He never had control of the football.
No, he had it momentarily and lost it as he was going out of bounds. So Batesville able to survive that drive, although aided and abetted by a couple of false start penalties against Triton Central. So with that, it's going to be Luke Strong back in punt formation for the Triton Central Tigers. And Rylan Yeager is back around his own 2-yard line, getting ready to field this punt.
Good weapon to have back there. Yeager's got speed.
Snap back.
Blocked.
And the kick is blocked. And a scramble for the football, and still loose. And Batesville looks like he's going to recover it. We'll see if they umpile the bodies underneath, but as somebody got up in the middle there and blocked the punt. And so Batesville in excellent field position as they have it down inside the 30-yard line.
Well, that was a heavenly host of Bulldogs that just came down, went right through Triton Central and got the block. So you had the one hand and then a pack of dogs chasing after the football. Football is going to be at the 28-yard line in Triton Central territory. Tell you what, dogs really after the football there after being able to finally get a punt forced.
Yeah, it looked like the dam burst up front, and yeah, they took care of it from there. So with that, Calvin Paget under center, backs lined up in an eye as Paget directing traffic. Twins to the top side of the formation. Batesville going from right to left. And the ball loose and scramble for it.
Triton Central's got it.
Yeah, they sure do. So one giveth and one taketh away. And they're going to say Batesville got it.
Ooh.
So I think Padgett was the one who ended up falling on top of it.
Padgett looked like, Padgett does have it, but man, I thought with his knee down, I thought for Triton Central is number 53, Peyton McKillop, who had that football. It was weird coming off the turf here at Triton Central because it hit off the end. It took a bad spin on Padgett. Somehow, some way, you would like to see a replay of how that one went down, but the Bulldogs have a big sigh of relief.
Loss of 4 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 14 back at the 32-yard line of Triton Central. Padgett fakes a handoff under some pressure, rolls out to his left, and now he's going to throw it away. But he was under all kinds of duress there. Number 55, Dallas Clark, a 6'3", 250-pound senior defensive end who has an offer from Indiana Wesleyan. Chasing Padgett down, he just had to throw it away.
Well, Dallas Clark last year ended up being a guy who had about 90 tackles for this Triton Central team. The line, there was a breakthrough somewhere, and Clark just went head hunting for Calvin Padgett. So we're going to take this football back. It's a 2nd down for Batesville. We're at 7:09 to go. 3rd down, I stand corrected.
And let's see. Now there's some discussion. I don't know if they're going to call intentional grounding. Yep.
Yep, that's going to be the call.
Yep. So, long discussion as referee and the umpire discuss things. So it's going to take the ball back to the Batesville 45-yard line. So what looked like a promising drive for Batesville after the block punt back inside the Triton Central 28-yard line is now stuck in reverse.
Going to go ahead and keep Yeager and Elston over on the far side at receiver.
So at 3rd and 27 for Batesville at the Triton Central 45. Padgett, quick hitter, and gets it out and along the numbers and finally taken down around the 32-yard line, close to the original line of scrimmage, but not able to get it going. And that was Jackson Elston was the receiver. So Elston getting it a little closer, a little more manageable.
It looks like Batesville's going to go ahead and go for it.
Yeah, they are going to go for it.
Well, I know you had mentioned in the pregame that Ronan Post was hitting from deep. I thought maybe you give him a try, but 14 yards to go. You can play around here a little bit. You've got Elston and Yeager over here on the near side. Zayden Small is going to line up a receiver on the far side, but now we've got a timeout on the field. It looks to be taken by Batesville.
And they will do that. That will be their first, and it comes with 6:18 to go in the opening period. No score between Batesville and Triton Central. And we're going to go ahead and take a 30-second timeout. Be back with more after this on 103.9 FM and the WRBI app.
Go stream, go work, go game. No matter what you do online, we've got you. Great Plains Communications. Super fast, reliable internet built for the way you live, work, and play. Powered by our expanding fiber network, local call centers, technicians, technical support, and over a century of experience, we ensure your connection is fast, reliable, and stress-free. Go make the switch to Great Plains Communications today. And remember, for all the ways you live online, we've got you.
Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Whitewater Motors, Hurt and Elko, Franklin County Farmers Mutual Insurance Company, the Ripley County Community Foundation, and Batesville Dental. So what looked like a promising drive for the Batesville Bulldogs, they had it at the Triton Central 28-yard line after a block punt. They've been stuck in reverse, but they are going to go for it, looks like on 4th down. And, as you all know, Evan Ulrey, a bit of a riverboat gambler in him. And so it's going to be Padgett will be operating out of the shotgun. Looks, has all kinds of protection, steps up, fires, and goes into the end zone. And it is knocked around and intercepted in the end zone by Triton Central. And they're going to take it out of the end zone and going to still on the ground and then still finally taken down to the ground for the Triton Central Tigers defensive backfield. And that was Number 18, Tevian Faulkner, a 5'11", 165-pound junior. A lot of green shirts down in that end zone, Rob.
Well, you take the risk because Jackson Elson is such a long specimen in terms of height. Now, with that being said, he did get his hand on the football. It tips off the fingers, and then it goes into the hands there of Triton Central. Not only was Faulkner down there, but Luke Strong is around as well. So you risk it to get the biscuit, as some might say, but that one did not pay off very well for Batesville. However, Triton Central not the best field position after trying to return back that INT.
Yep, 1st and 10 at their own 6-yard line. 6:02 to go in the opening period. No score. Wilkins operating out of the pistol and has got a handoff going up the middle and getting a healthy gain. And now all the way outside the 20 to the 22-yard line is the ball carrier for the Triton Central Tigers.
It's going to be Landon Ball.
Yep, Landon Ball once again. So Ball getting a lot of carries, a 5'11", 185-pound junior. And so he gets the first down and gets the Tigers out of jail, so to speak.
Faulkner's going to come into the ball game for Triton Central. You got Weston Smith, who is stepping out. Rylan Yeager was able to come over and help make the stop for Batesville.
So 1st and 10, Tigers at their own 23-yard line. Operating out the pistols, Wilkins once again. Back to throw, looking, firing over the middle, and is caught by Kemper, and he immediately slides down at the 31-yard line.
Just able to slide that throw in. Isaac Limmel, Clayton Kaiser in the area, but just could not slide over quick enough. Not necessarily any one spot, it was just an open spot against Batesville's coverage.
Pickup of 9 on that pass play from Wilkins to Kemper. So it'll be a 2nd and 1, Triton Central at their own 32-yard line. It's again Wilkins operating out of the pistol. 2 up top, 1 to the near side. Claps his hand and hands it off. And it is once again Gert. Ball, the ball carrier.
Yep, Ball's the ball carrier and was not going to be able to get past Clayton Kaiser, the freshman. So Batesville is back with 2 Kaiser boys in tow. Of course, the eldest, Cade, sophomore season with IU football. I had a chance to be on that national championship roster. Camden, a junior this year, Clayton, the freshman.
So it'll be a 3rd and 4, so loss of 3 on the play. Takes it back to the 29-yard line.
Now, they're not going to put Ball in the backfield, so I would expect this to be a pass play for Triton Central. Trips on the far side for the Tigers.
Yeah, the lone setback is in there for pass protection. Fake the handoff. Rolling out to his left is Wilkins. Looking, firing, and going up the far sideline and way over the head of his intended receiver by about 20 yards. The closest one to it was Rylan Yeager, and he was down about 20 yards along the far sideline. So after the Batesville turnover is going to be a punting situation for the Triton Central Tigers, their 2nd punt of the evening.
2 on the pass rush there for Batesville. Once again, it's going to be Clayton Kaiser, but also stepping in a guy that we said a lot of positives about last year, Tom, and that's Caden Vogelsang.
Yes, Vogelsang, it seemed like he was around the ball quite a lot, making those plays. Just had a nose for the ball. So Rylan Yeager will field the punt back around his own 35-yard line, so Batesville should come out of this with pretty good field position. Snap back to Luke Strong, the punter. He gets this one off. The first one was blocked again. And Yeager's going to field it at the 25, goes to the outside and bounces it outside the numbers and is going to run out of bounds around the 43-yard line. We have a penalty marker across the way, so we'll see what that's all about.
Triton Central was going to catch a break there because that ball skidded so well, but Yeager's got that speed and picked it up on the run.
Yeah, well, that was Exhibit A right there, that speed that you talked about, Rob. I mean, he just put on the afterburners. And
Batesville's going back.
Yeah, I was about to say that looks like it's going to be a penalty against Batesville, according to was the one line judge was pointing toward Batesville, and that is the case. It will go against the Bulldogs. So it will take the ball back. It'll look like a block in the back would be my guess. So it's going to take it back to the 34-yard line.
Still not a terrible spot.
No. It's manageable. The Bulldogs break the huddle. To the near side, backs are lined up in an I. Dotting the I is Ajon Herbert. And they'll pitch it back to Herbert. He goes right up the middle, bowls over a defender, and gets it to the 40-yard line. So a good, healthy pickup there. 6 on the play by Ajon Herbert, just running straight up the middle.
And he was the guy, because of injuries last year and some other things, had to step up in a role for a couple games, being that starting running back for Batesville. And you never saw him really tally the big-time numbers, but you could just see, even through some inexperience, he's got speed, he's got potential. That's a really strong run for him for another year of varsity football.
Jake Shornick and Jackson Elston split to the near side. Backs lined up in an I. Padgett under center, hands it off, and going straight up the middle and getting 1, maybe 2 on the play. But pretty tough sledding there. That was Ajon Herbert, the ball carrier again.
So we've seen Zayden Small carry the football. We have seen Ajon Herbert do the same. Another guy we may be seeing back there at some point tonight, and that could be Dylan Shane, the previous quarterback for Batesville a year ago, but now Padgett has taken over the spot. 3rd and 2. Might be an opportunity here for Batesville to run that pass out in the flat again, possibly do with Elston over on the far side, or do it here on the near with Shornick.
Ball at the 42-yard line. Padgett under center. Backs in an I. Single wides on either side. They will hand it off to Herbert. He bounces it to the outside. He gets the first down yardage and then some. And he's finally wrestled down at the 49-yard line in Batesville territory. So a fresh set of downs for the Batesville Bulldogs.
Well, and that time, it looked like Triton Central maybe suspecting what I was bringing up right before the play. Man, that was just a big spot for Batesville to run the football through and get the first down. You move the chains, and can this now be continuous for Batesville, at least for the next 2 minutes? Can they keep this football going into the second quarter?
Elston and Yeager split up top. Backs in the offset I behind quarterback Calvin Padgett, who will operate under center. Hand it back, and Herbert, the ball carrier, and Herbert gets it into Triton Central territory and finally taken down at the 44-yard line as he goes to the left side off left tackle and taken down at the 44. So it's going to be a 2nd and 3 for the Batesville Bulldogs in Triton Central territory.
Yeah, and Ty Bergman was there to meet him, and Batesville has done a pretty good job of avoiding him so far tonight. Bergman and Clark, the two guys you do not want to see coming at you with this Triton Central defense.
Shornick lines up in the slot. Lined up wide is Elston, top of the formation. Padgett will hand it off to Herbert, and Herbert tries the left side once again, and he's going to lose yards on that one. He's going to lose a yard as he was taken out at the 45-yard line. 55, that's Canada. The 45-yard line, but again, tough sledding there for Ajon Herbert.
Well, you try to figure out here, is Evan Ulrey trying to be conservative to get this into the second quarter? A lot of run plays together. We know Batesville has done that in the past, but at some point, let's try and air this thing out a little bit again. Padgett's got to be able to get those reps in the pass game.
Shornick and Elston lined up top of the formation. Batesville going from right to left as we're looking at things here. Backs lined up in an I. Padgett, quick hitter, and gets it out to Elston, and he gets the first down yardage and more. Trucks a man downfield about the 29-yard line, and that'll set up Batesville with a 1st and 10 at the Triton Central 29-yard line. Jackson Elston, the receiver on that one.
He picks up the first down and got some breathing room because it was just a quick block hit on the far side by his other receiver on that side, that being Shornick. So now 12 seconds, clock is rolling. Batesville, possibility of running one more play. They look like they're going to, but it's down to 5 on the game clock. And they're just going to let this thing play down.
10 seconds on the play clock, and mix up in the backfield is a collision by Padgett and off to Small, and nothing doing there. In fact, I think he's going to lose a yard on that one. And with that, that's going to end the first quarter. Your score, 0-0 between Batesville and Triton Central. We'll be back after this 60-second timeout. You're listening to High School Football on 103.9 FM and the WRBI app.
When life takes unexpected turns, Moore Law is there to help. Moore Law can help with estate planning, elder law, nursing home planning, criminal defense, family law issues, and civil litigation. They stand behind their clients every step of the way. From protecting loved ones and securing your future to defending your rights, Moore Law's attorneys bring a wealth of knowledge and dedication to every case. Call 812-932-1227. Moore Law, attorneys you can trust.
Hi, this is Jamie Scripture at Whitewater Motors in Greensburg. If you want a pre-owned vehicle without the runaround, come see Whitewater Motors in Greensburg or Milan. We keep a rotating mix of cars, trucks, and SUVs and help you line up financing that fits. Start with photos, prices, and easy online tools at whitewatergreensburg.com and swing by for a test drive. Whitewater Motors makes it easy to drive home happy. Come see why Whitewater Motors is the most trusted name in the car business.
Your free source for local sports, WRBI.
We move into quarter number 2 at Mendenhall Field at Triton Central High School. No score between the Batesville Bulldogs and the host Tigers. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep, Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Doug Sherwood, Decatur County Memorial Hospital, and Bruns Gutzwiller. There'll be a 1st and 10 for Batesville at the Triton Central 28-yard line as we begin quarter number 2. Batesville will now go from left to right as we're looking at things here at Mendenhall Field. And Batesville returning 10 offensive starters from last year. Of course, all 5 guys on the offensive line back as well. Calvin Paget, the quarterback, under center, fakes a handoff, looking, play action, and going to have to dump it off and tried to go to Zayden Small just outside the hash marks because there's all kinds of pressure being applied to Paget. Had to dump it off to the safety valve, and Small not able to come up with it. Incomplete pass stops the clock with 11:55 to go in the second.
Score update from Rushville. First quarter, Milan leading Rushville 7-0. I'm shocked, or well, you will not be shocked, Tom, of how that happened. 4 straight runs by Beckett Langferman sets up a QB keeper by Lane Smith.
There you go. Not shocking at all.
Especially considering who had the 4 straight runs.
There you go. That's all you need to know. Paget under center. We've got a whistle and a stoppage in play.
Looks to be a timeout taken by Triton Central.
Yep, so that's going to be their first, and they're going to go ahead and then take it with 11:55 to go in the second quarter. Again, no score here, so it'll be a 3rd and 10 Batesville at the Triton Central 28-yard line. We'll keep it right here.
Football fans, just a reminder that turnover hunger feeds local elementary children who would otherwise go hungry on weekends, and they need your contributions. Your support of $20 will feed 1 child for an entire weekend. Join the Batesville Bulldogs with the Ripley County Community Foundation by donating tonight to Turnover Hunger. You can go to the website, rccfonline.org. Again, rccfonline.org. Every turnover this season created by the Batesville and Milan defenses will see donations made to Turnover Hunger.
And speaking of Milan and Rushville, we will be making the trip to the TP next week, the short trip there, then also head up State Road 3 to Rushville on week 4 to see the Rushville Lions.
And my guess would be that, yes, we're going to have a great crowd at Milan next week for the bell game between the Indians and the Bulldogs, but I bet we will not have to park as far away as we did the last time we were there, the semi-state game against South Putt.
Yep, November 21st, Friday night before next week was the Thanksgiving weekend, and South Putnam, the opponent, and of course they go on and win it all in Class 1A, and they're now up in 2A because of the competitive balance factor. So play resuming here, 3rd and 10 Batesville at the Triton Central 28. Paget looks over the defense, now hunkers down behind center, fakes a handoff, looking, firing, and goes over the middle and caught. Touchdown.
Jackson Elston, but there's a flag.
Yep, so hold everything that's in the offensive backfield, so that's going to come back.
There's an opportunity for the official to call a hold, and it's going to be a hold. You don't hear the number, but a little too much hand grabbing on the part of this near side for Batesville to allow Paget that time to throw. And you hate that because Jackson Elson, it's another risky throw, but he's got the advantage height-wise. Just goes up and grabs it and makes a great catch. But
when looking for the highest standard of HVAC service and care, turn to Hurt and Elko, your local Lennox Premier dealer. Hurt and Elko, and there are more. Conditions apply. See dealer for details.
And as you said, Rob, a big target and able to box out kind of like in basketball. So that's going to take the ball back to the 38-yard line in Triton Central territory, but it's going to be a 3rd and 20 for Batesville. Twins up top. Yeager lined up in the slot. Shane, the up man in the I formation. Fake the handoff to Small. Padgett looking, firing under some pressure, and throws it into the middle of the end zone and beyond the intended receiver. And all kinds of pressure there. Once again, good job there by the Triton Central defense. And the intended receiver, once again, was Jackson Elston.
Well, I think every series so far for Batesville, they've tried to go for an end zone shot to Elson. He might as well pitch a tent in the end zone, but they've got to be able to connect. Now, that time on the last throw attempt, holding penalty. Clear as day for Batesville. That time, though, I thought perhaps maybe missing a pass interference in the end zone because there was 2 hands shoving on the back of Elston.
So Isaac Lemo back in punt formation for Batesville. And Dylan Showalter, the deep man, he's standing back at his own 5-yard line off to our right.
Quick substitution in for Triton Central. That's going to be Cooper Alford.
And he gets it off, and not a particularly deep punt, but it's going to go down inside the 10, and it's going to be down at the 8-yard line. So that's where Triton Central will start 1st and 10 at their own 8-yard line. No score here between Batesville and Triton Central in the season opener.
And kind of shaping up, Tom, like it was a year ago. We were not expecting a season ago for it to be an 11-10 ball game, but 0-0, 11:35 to go in the first half. I mean, these two teams just have found ways to prevent points on the board, whether it's been through penalties, a crucial stop at the right time. Both teams battling early on, just as we expected.
Yep, it is week 1 after all.
It is week 1. Now, next week we will not say that, or any other week.
That's
eventually we got to say, hey, things got to be knocked out at some point.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, after a while, you run out of excuses.
Correct.
How this pistol and hand it off, and going right up the middle, and all kinds of running room, and finally taken down around the 25-yard line. And once again, the ball carrier for the Triton Central Tigers, that was Landon Ball. So Ball got to 18 on that pickup and takes it all the way down to the nose of it, resting at the 26-yard line in Triton Central territory.
Right up the middle again, which has been the sweet spot for Ball. And now Triton Central going to run another guy out there, and Ty Bergman. Bergman actually can line up as a running back, which that gives you another brute in the backfield if you're Triton Central. Also, Weston Smith coming in. Expect him to line up at tight end.
Once again, Wilkins operating out of the pistol.
Going to use Bergman as a blocker.
And hands it off and going up the middle, and picked up a few on the play, not much there.
Short game for the Tigers off right side.
And to try to go that right side. Pick up of 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 8 for the Triton Central Tigers. 10:36 and counting here in quarter number 2. Again, no score between Batesville and Triton Central. Tigers break the huddle. They walk up to the line of scrimmage. Kemper split to the near side. Wilkins operating out of the pistol, has a wing on the right side. He's going to hand it off, goes up to Ball. Ball gets it across the 30 down to the 33-yard line.
Going to be brought down by Clayton Kaiser.
So it's going to be 3rd and manageable for Triton Central. Ball at their own 33-yard line. They're going to call 3rd and 3. And they'll send Luke Strong, 6'1", 175-pound senior, to up top of the formation. And Henry Kemper to the near side. Hand it off, and it's Ball once again corkscrewing his way up front. He was put in a spin cycle by a Batesville defender, looked like Bryson Hageman. Got him and but he was able to get the first down was Ball. So a fresh set of downs for the Triton Central Tigers.
Well, and if you're Triton Central, the run's working right now. There's no reason on a short third down to stray away from it. Now you're going to run some different personnel. Showalter's going to come in at wide receiver for Triton Central. They're just mixing things up. They're exposing a couple spots that Batesville has just really yet to cover up. Kind of keeps this Batesville team guessing just a little bit, but again, each of these defenses so far has just found a way to make a stop when it matters most.
And we've got a whistle and a penalty marker thrown by the referee. And that's going to be a false start against Triton Central. So that's their third of the ball game.
Well, when you take a look at Triton Central, it's Batesville's defense. They've came up timely a couple times, but the penalties are really helping out Batesville, too, with Triton Central having to get forced back.
Yeah, there's that what seemed like a promising drive for Triton Central, derailed by those two false starts. So with that, it's going to be a 1st and 15. Tigers at their own 32. Wilkins out of the pistol, fakes the handoff, rolls out to his left. Looking, firing upfield, and caught by Kemper at the 40, and he's going to get some more yardage and finally going to be wrestled out of bounds at the 49-yard line in Triton Central territory. First down for the Tigers.
Yeah, you had Dylan Shane, who's finally able to make the tackle. It looked like maybe kind of last second that number 55, Preston Blessing, had an opportunity to come around and make a quicker stop, but receiver just able to fly right by real quick. Shane finally brings him down, but Triton Central taking a little bit of a change in the playbook and making that happen and moving the sticks.
Yeah, Kemper, the 6'1", 205-pound senior, able to haul it down and get the good gain and pick up the fresh set of downs. So 1st and 10, Triton Central at their own 49. They'll send Showalter in motion to the far side. Back to throw, rolling out to his right, all kinds of protection, and off the hands of Kemper, tried to get it to the flat on the far side around the 40-yard line, and just off of Kemper's left hand, so an incomplete pass will stop the clock with 8:41 to go before halftime.
Give some credit there to Isaac Lemmel, who was able to rush there on the receiver.
So incomplete pass again, stopping the clock, 8:41. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Ivy Tech Community College, Gehrings, Vagley Napa Auto, Ison's Family Pizza, and Andrus Wiesterfeld Funeral Home. 2nd and 10, Tigers at their own 49. They split strong to the top side. Kemper to the near side. Operating out of the pistol is Wilkins. Will hand it off to Ball. Ball tries to run it off right tackle. He'll get to the 50, and that's it.
That's going to be Matthew Mayer stepping in to make a big stop for Batesville.
Yeah, Mayer, key part of the defense last year, but his season derailed by injuries late a year ago. And they're going to give him 2 on the play, so it'll be a 3rd and 8 for Triton Central at the Batesville 49-yard line, approaching the 8-minute mark in the second quarter. Again, no score in this one.
You talk about the injuries and Mayer being banged up, Max Meyer, a lot of other guys. Whether it was lengthy or not, I think almost everyone on that roster had a bumper bruise last year, which really depleted Batesville.
Trips to the far side, one to the near side. Back to throw is Wilkins, looking, firing, and caught on the far sideline by Kemper. She came out of bounds and beyond the sticks, and he's going to get another Triton Central first down all the way down to the 38-yard line of the Batesville Bulldogs.
Well, when you talk about a couple guys back on offense, in addition to Wilkins, a QB for Triton Central, Kemper was this team's leading receiver last year. He had about 439 yards, which led in terms of receiving yardage for Triton Central. So you know he can haul in the football, and that time was able to beat Zayden Small to the sideline.
Tigers walk it up to the line of scrimmage. Strong split to the top side. Showalter to the near side. Operating out of the pistol is Wilkins. Claps his hands and hands it off. And dancing around the backfield is Landon Ball. And he's going to get to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
That time coming out of the pile with Jeff Gersbauer for Batesville. Finally figuring out that Ball wants to go up the middle, plug it up.
So they're going to give him 1 on the play. So it'll be a 2nd and 9, Triton Central at the Batesville 37-yard line. Clock rolls on, 7:18 and counting in the first half. Again, no score. 3 wides to the near side, 1 to the top side. Triton Central going from right to left. Back to throw and firing a little hitch out to the near side to Kemper. Kemper gets it to the 35-yard line, is immediately wrestled down by a host of Batesville defenders. Sees Aiden Small, also Bryson Hegeman, among others, there for the Batesville defense.
And here we are with a 3rd down. Now, this time around, Triton Central is probably in 4-down territory, given the fact that it's a scoreless game. Defense is pretty confident right now if you're the Tigers.
Pick up a 4 on the play, so it'll be a 3rd and 5. Triton Central at the Batesville 33. And Triton Central looking the near sideline. And I don't know if they're going to call a timeout here, but it looks like there's all kinds of confusion there as to what they're going to call. And it will be a timeout. And they're going to go ahead and call their second timeout. So Triton Central down to 1. Batesville still has 2 in its pocket. And we'll keep it right here with 6:13 to go before halftime. Again, Batesville and Triton Central scoreless in the season opener.
Well, that gives me time to have a scoreboard update. Of course, we'll have scores once again coming up at halftime. A 0-0 ball game here at Triton Central with the Tigers and the Bulldogs. 7:49 to go in the first quarter. East Central leads Lawrenceburg 7-0. First quarter score, North Decatur all over South Decatur 18-0. Milan leads Rushville 1-0. How about 7-0? No way it could be a 1-0 game unless it was a forfeit in high school football.
Yep.
Second quarter, you have Shelbyville leading Greensburg 13-0. Other games that have kicked off, but we still have no score for: Newcastle and Franklin County, South Dearborn against Little Miami, Ohio, and Richmond taking on Connorsville.
And, of course, we will have those scores posted for you later on tonight after we pack up things here and head back to the radio ranch. And, of course, we'll also run down those scores for you tomorrow morning during the local sports as well. So be sure to check our website, WRBIRadio.com, for those Week 1 high school scores again later on tonight.
By the way, if South Dearborn, folks, beats Little Miami tonight, next week they play Big Miami. Or, dare I say, medium-sized Miami.
Or Great Miami.
There you go.
Now, there is a Great Miami River now.
Yes, there is.
Snap back to Wilkins. Looks, fires, and goes over the top and caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Triton Central. And the receiver on that one was Dylan Showalter. And it comes with the 6:07 mark here in quarter number 2.
Well, that was a great throw by Wilkins to get Triton Central on the board. He had an opportunity in the first quarter that was missed because a ball had dropped through the receiver's hands. But, I mean, Showalter is wide open. And you could tell that even on coverage for Batesville, back there was going to be Max Meyer. He saw behind him that Showalter had already beat him. It was kind of this look of, oh, no. At that point, you just hope he drops it off the hands, but just a good catch, good pass, 6-0 Triton Central, and there's a 6:07 mark on the game clock.
And Evan Mitchell with the extra point attempt, and it is blocked. So special teams a problem for Triton Central. However, what's not a problem, a 33-yard strike. Matthew Wilkins to Dylan Showalter with 6:07 to go before halftime, and like that, Triton Central draws first blood in that 6-0 Tigers over the Bulldogs.
Just got told by my wife that the Miami joke was dumb.
Oh.
Annie says she's correct, and that's why I do not allow Annie to speak to my wife.
A little collusion there.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what Batesville can do here. You've got plenty of time. You've got 6:07 to work with. It's still just a one-possession game, and I know that we get to halftime. Coach Ulrey's going to make some adjustments. I think they're starting to find a couple things, but it's just about piecing all of these guys together, trying to get everyone on the same page in week number 1. But Triton Central strikes first. You've got Yeager back to return for Batesville. You're also going to throw Zayden Small back there and Ajon Herbert.
So Evan Mitchell getting ready to kick off for the second time tonight. Of course, Triton Central won the toss, and they have deferred to the second half, so they will get the ball to begin the third quarter. So Batesville trailing 6-0. Again, a 33-yard strike. Matthew Wilkins to Dylan Showalter in the back of the end zone. It was in the upper left corner. And a pooch kick and fielded by one of the up men. And it gets it to the 40 to the 41. And wrestled down there is Jake Shornick. So Shornick with the good return on the pooch kick, the deep one. So it takes it out to the 41. So Batesville with excellent field position to start this next drive, trailing 6-0.
Well, Elston's been your go-to on offense for Batesville. He's been able to have his hands on a couple footballs in the first half, and one of which we thought was going to go for a touchdown, but a holding penalty brought it back for the Bulldogs. I really think Batesville would love to get their run game going. We have not seen, outside of a solid Ajon Herbert run, Zayden Small has not got going. We haven't seen Dylan Shane back there. And now we've got a flag on the field, and it's going to end up actually being a timeout instead of the flag. Triton Central calls their final.
So they're out, and that comes with 6:03 to go. Batesville still has 2 remaining in the half, and we'll let you know that while we have the stoppage in play, that tonight's game brought to you in part by Fleetwood Chevrolet, Margaret Mary Health, Great Plains Communications, and Moore Law Office.
Again, a reminder, coming up next Friday night, this crew, me, Tom, Annie, will be over at the TP in Milan for the annual Ripley County Bell Game as the Indians will take on the Bulldogs. It was another great one between those two teams a year ago, and we'll see how the 2026 edition pans out. Batesville has won the last couple on a bit of a streak, but the Indians at home, and you know that's going to be a raucous black and gold crowd.
Indeed, and always a fun game to do, to take in the atmosphere there, and looking forward to it. But we still have another half plus 6 minutes to play here in the first half. Padgett will hand it off to Dylan Shane. Shane running off left tackle, and you got to get a good run out of that. He's going to take it all the way down to the 49-yard line, still in Batesville territory. Just what you were talking about, Rob, getting Dylan Shane going, so at least on that one, he was able to get some good positive yardage.
Well, and he's kind of that version of a strong back for Batesville. He is a put your head down and run kind of guy, whereas Small and Herbert are going to be your 2 speedsters there in the backfield. So let the strong man carry, much like Triton Central has done with ball tonight, and now it's definitely manageable here on second down for the blue and white.
Pickup of 7 on the play, and faking the handoff, and Padgett going to run into his left, puts his shoulder down, and wrestled out of bounds by Henry Kemper, and we've got a flag in the backfield, in the offensive backfield, so look for either a hold or block in the back. As Padgett with a little spin move in the backfield and took off to his left and was trucked out of bounds by Kemper, and it will go against Batesville. And it will be a hold against Batesville.
Well, I feel like the turn looked a little awkward. I know that's the play call, but it just looked like from the get-go that was probably not going to come to fruition the way Batesville envisioned.
So that's going to take the ball back to the 39-yard line of the Batesville Bulldogs. And it will set up a 2nd and 13, 5:19 to go. The clock stopped. And Triton Central with the 6-0 lead. Sure you stay tuned. At halftime, we'll recap the first half and take a look at scores around the area and whatever else washes up on shore.
Shornick, speaking of shorts, Shornick is lined up near side with Elston right in front of us.
Padgett under center, fakes the handoff, looking up tops, ducks away from one man, and he's going to be taken down in the backfield. Well defended there by Triton Central.
Well, and that's going to be, it looks like, is that number 5, Knox Cohen, who came in and made the sack?
Yep.
And what happened was left side, which we know with Camden Kaiser and a couple others, that left side's pretty well taken care of. There's a breakdown here on this near side on the O-line. Padgett had nowhere to go.
So that's going to set up a 3rd and 20 for Batesville back at the 32-yard line. Bulldogs break the huddle. They race to the line of scrimmage. Twins to the near side. They are Elston and Shornick. Back to throw is Padgett, has all kinds of protection, looking, firing up top, and it is beyond the hands of it was almost intercepted by Triton Central. The defender back there was Gavin Pruitt, and he was looking for Jake Shornick and well beyond Shornick, but the closest one to it was Pruitt momentarily.
Well, and it kind of looked like, first off, Calvin Padgett has got a really good arm.
Yes.
But it kind of just looked like he chucked that one up and then said, you know what, hopefully I got a teammate down there who's going to catch it, because even Shornick's looking around going, where in the world did that pass go to? And by the time he sees it, it's in no man's land. So that is a rough drive for Batesville.
And the punt, and it's going to take a Triton Central bounce at the 40, and it's going to be down at the 44-yard line by Batesville's Max Meyer on special teams. So excellent field position for the Triton Central Tigers, who lead it 6-0, 4:25 to go before halftime. And of course, Tim Kegley, first-year head coach for the Triton Central Tigers, longtime defensive coordinator here under previous coach Tim Abel, who stepped down after 13 seasons at Triton Central and 33 overall in the coaching profession, a man who got it done for a long time. Operating out of the pistol once again is Matthew Wilkins, the senior quarterback. Will hand it off to Landon Ball. Ball goes right side and is going to be greeted by Clayton Kaiser, the freshman linebacker at the 45-yard line. And not much going there, and the doctor diagnosed a cramp, and we have a cramp situation on the field.
Not only does Annie do sales, she also diagnoses.
That's right. She's not a doctor, and she didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
She didn't play one on TV either.
No, or in the movies.
Just on the radio.
So they're attending to the Batesville player. Did not get a number on. Did you see it, Rob?
I did not, and we've got a couple of medical staff people and an official covering up right now. Again, this seems like a cramp. They've got Batesville over here on the sideline. We will not speculate any farther, but this will give both teams a chance to talk things over a little bit. 4:10 to go before halftime. Triton Central 6, Batesville 0. And trainer Tim with the Batesville crew says A-OK for number 51, Lance Weiler.
Yep, Dr. Tim Welsh from Margaret Mary Health. Also, Dr. David Welsh, team physician. So he trots off, and with that, we're going to go back to the business at hand. So it's going to be a 2nd and 8 for the Triton Central Tigers at their own 36-yard line. TC leads it 6-0, 4:10 to go before halftime.
What's Wilkins going to do? Are you going to go ahead and try and go back to the backfield? Are you going to hand off to Landon Ball? Are you going to trust receivers again? You got a chance to strike, plus TC gets the football back to start the second half.
Kemper comes in motion, and they hand it to him off on the jet sweep. He comes around the near side and gets the 40, and that's about it. He had a host of white-shirted Batesville defenders to greet him on the near sideline. He gets to the 45-yard line.
This may be going against Triton Central.
Yep.
This could be a face mask.
Yeah, because that's a penalty marker back in the backfield, about where you would expect something along those lines.
Well, it's actually going to be the hold, not the face mask.
Well, it could have been easily.
I would agree. I mean, either way, Batesville's going to take it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I thought the face guard there of Isaac Limmel got grabbed and dragged pretty good.
Yeah, one of those rare times you see an offensive face masking penalty called, but it was not the case. But that's what we saw.
Oh, they're going to call face mask against Batesville and a hold against Triton Central.
So that's going to be offsetting penalties.
Is that camera of yours got a replay?
Maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as replay takes in football.
Let's roll back that beautiful bean footage.
Yeah. Whereas the ABS challenge in Batesville seems like they get it up there, they get it figured out, and we're back to playing. So offsetting penalties, and we'll repeat 2nd and 8 at the Triton Central 46. Matthew Wilkins, the senior quarterback, out of the pistol, claps his hands, fakes the handoff, looks up top, fires over the middle, and beyond the hands of his intended receiver, trying to one-hand it with his right hand was Kemper, but not able to connect on that one. So it will be a 3rd and 8 Triton Central at their own 46. Clock stops on the incomplete pass with 3:49 to go before the break.
Yeah, a little too high for Kemper, and then back there behind him was Isaac Limmel. Unfortunately for Limmel, it's a little too high for him, too, to try and snag.
Yeah, just a little too much air on that one. You want to talk about air mailing? Looked like a Ellie De La Cruz throw to first base last year.
If that had been thrown any farther, it would have bounced off a Reds outfielder's glove, and they would have lost the game.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter or anything.
No. Rolling out to his left is Wilkins under some pressure, being chased by Shane in the backfield. Cross field pass and trying to go to his intended receiver outside the numbers along the Batesville sideline was Luke Strong. So that play just looked like a jailbreak back there, and it's going to be a punting situation for the Triton Central Tigers.
Well, you had Shane, you had Vogelsang, you had a huge group there that was able to put that pressure and Russ Wilkins out.
And also, we're not going to wear our sunglasses on the bill of our cap either. I'm not bitter about that either.
No.
Yeah, you want to look cool. Well, look cool by catching the final out, executing somebody, anybody. And snap back and the punt, and it's going to be take a bounce and out of bounds out around the 25-yard line. So that's where Batesville will start out 1st and 10, and you're listening to High School Football on 103.9 FM, WRBI, Batesville, Greensburg, Brookville, Versailles, along with on-site engineer Annie Nunley, color analyst extraordinaire Rob Moorhead. I'm Tom Snape.
Whoa. Rob Moorhead.
I'm sorry, Rob LaFerry.
Wow.
Hey, that's the first one. Hey, I got it out of my system.
Yes, I am the superintendent of the year.
I promoted you, Rob.
Go me.
Yeah, I promoted you, Rob.
All right.
How about that? Rob LaFerry.
Batesville Schools, where's my pay raise?
Yeah.
I got a new title, folks.
Yeah, come on. Show me the money. So, Batesville trailing 6-0, 3:35 to go, a minute. 1st and 10 at the 25. And they get it out to Yeager on the flat. Yeager has it inside the numbers. Ball loose, but they're going to say he was down by contact. And rather emphatically, the officials signal it at the 35-yard line.
You are absolutely right, Jerry Stanger.
Oh, come on, Rob. I can't believe that.
It's a good Jerry. I like it.
Next time I'll do me.
There you go.
However it is I sound. Splits to the near side, and they hand it off to Shane. Shane bursts his way forward to the 40-yard line.
And that's going to move things again. So, I mean, here late in the first half, you've got to be satisfied. You're not satisfied being down right now, but satisfied with a couple Dylan Shane runs. But we got another Bulldog down.
And again, we'll not speculate on that one.
Although I'm not seeing a number 5 coming over to the sideline. If that would be the case, that would be Dylan Shane who just ran the football.
Yeah, it looks like a cramp, so stretching his left leg. Of course, the three magic words in week 1 are hydrate, hydrate, hydrate.
And it's just interesting. It actually really is cool. No joking here. The different methods that each school has with their training staffs to prevent the cramps or to loosen those cramps up. You'll see everything from the Gatorade in the water to mustard to pickle juice. I've seen a lot, and that is Dylan Shane coming up with the cramp.
Yeah, he's going to walk off gingerly, but under his own power. Accompanied by athletic trainer Tim Wells and team doctor David Welsh across the way. So after the stoppage and play, it will be a 1st and 10 Batesville at their own 34-yard line. 3:01 to go before the break. And Triton Central late getting on the field, and they finally get it up to the line of scrimmage defensively. Batesville going from left to right as we're looking at things here. Paget under center, twins to the near side, backs lined up in the offset eye. Paget swings it out and off the hands of his intended receiver, Jackson Nelson. I think he might have been looking upfield before he hauled it in. So incomplete pass will stop the clock with 2:49 to go. Will set up a 2nd and 10 Batesville at their own 34.
Yeah, they had it set up because you had Dylan Shane ready to get the block to allow for that room for Elston after he gets the pass out in the flat. How many yards, I don't know. I think at least for Jackson, at least 3 or 4. But there were a couple Tigers around much quicker to Jackson this time, one of which was number 22. That's Gavin Pruitt.
2nd and 10, ball at the Batesville 41. Padgett will hand it off to Small. He tries the left side, bounces it outside the numbers, and going to be wrestled out of bounds on the far sideline. Well short of the first down, so it's going to set up a 3rd and long, 3rd and 6, we'll call it. Ball will be marked at the 45 in Batesville territory.
But that looked a little bit more like a Zayden Small run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very decisive, a little bit of speed there thrown in. So 3rd and 6, ball at the Batesville 45. Padgett brings him up to the line of scrimmage, backs in the offset eye. Padgett looking, swings it right side, and caught by Elston, and he's going to be hauled down at the 48-yard line. Pickup of the 2 after the catch, yards after the catch, takes it to the Triton Central 48-yard line, 1st and 10 Batesville.
Handful of catches now for Elston in the first half to move the sticks, and as we trickle down the 2 minutes, not only do you have 2 minutes to work with, Batesville's also still got 2 timeouts left in their pocket.
Elston split up top. Single wide to the near side. And throw it and batted away. He was looking for Elston was Padgett. And well defended there, coming up with the stick. And that was Hudson Reichnatter, a 6'2", 180-pound sophomore defensive end. Just stuck that mid up there and knocked it down.
Stuck the mitt, basketball block, whatever you want to call it. But, I mean, that football just went boom, right back down.
2nd and 10, Batesville at the Triton Central 48-yard line. Clock stopped at 1:53 after the incomplete pass. Padgett under center, backs in the eye, and he'll pitch it out to Small, and Small will try the right side behind right tackle, and he'll gain about 3 on the play, take it to the 45 of Triton Central. So that's going to set up a 3rd and 7, we'll call it, as we approach the 1.5-minute mark here.
Got wrapped up by Bergman, did Zayden Small, but kind of threw that shoulder out there to push himself over and get to the 44.
Elston split up top. Shornick to the near side, backs in the eye. They pitch it out to Small. Small goes up the middle, darts through a couple of defenders, gets it all the way down to the 30, down to the 25. Finally taken down there inside the 25. So that Zayden Small type of vintage run there right up the middle.
And we've got a Tiger who is slow to get up. Going to be able to walk off here rather immediately. That looks... I thought maybe a 2 there on the jersey, but we got, again, training staff covering up the whole number. I will say this, going back to the run by Small, that right there not only is a great Zayden Small run, but also shows you why Camden Kaiser as a junior is starting to get Division I interest as an offensive lineman. I mean, that was a huge hole that was opened up by the big fella.
And speaking of Camden Kaiser, he has an offer from the Miami University in Oxford, Ohio.
Was able to get that offer this season. Went to a showcase over at Indiana University. So things are starting to get awfully bright for Camden Kaiser. Mentioned already that Cade's over IU right now.
So 1:11 to go before the break. Batesville with a 1st and 10 at the Triton Central 24-yard line. Padgett under center, backs lined up in the eye, and he'll hand it off to Dylan Shane, the up man in the formation, goes left tackle, and he'll take it down to the 20-yard line. Just a Dylan Shane type run. A lot of pinballing.
Simple run. He just kind of rides the hole there that Dylan Shane, or not Dylan Shane, but Lance Weiler had.
Yeah, good recognition by Shane on that run. Padgett under center. Looks to throw, looking, firing. Left side in the corner of the end zone, and all kinds of hand contact there. And we're going to have defensive pass interference. They look to go to Jackson Elston, but the defender back there, Henry Kemper, getting a little handsy down there in the end zone.
Well, whether it's been defense or offense, Kemper's been around the end zone tonight. Elson offensively has been there. And that's a smart pass by Calvin Padgett, because you throw it to that corner and you know that Kemper's not in position. He is going to have to push off. He's going to have to interfere. So just a heads-up play offensively, and it really benefits the Batesville Bulldogs.
So it's going to be a 1st and 10 Batesville. And on the defensive pass interference. And let's see, they still got to mark it off. So that's going to take it down to the 10-yard line. Knows the ball at the 10. Padgett has him up to the line of scrimmage. Backs in the eye. Rylan Yeager to the near side. Elston to the far side. Handed off to Shane. He goes up the middle and bowls his way forward for 2, 3, and a timeout will be taken by Batesville. That will be their second. It comes with 34 seconds remaining before the halftime break. And speaking of halftime, be sure you stick around. We'll recap this first half. Also, take a look at some scores around the area, and who knows what else, but we'll have some information to pass along to you and get ready for a second half of play here in the season opener between Batesville and Triton Central. Right now, the host Tigers with the 6-0 lead. However, Batesville with a first and goal situation. They're at the Tiger 8-yard line, and another Batesville player down, getting his legs stretched out for, looked like cramping. So that's why, one of the reasons why
it was Padgett.
Yep. Calvin Padgett was down, getting a little stretched out.
And the thing is, we are coming up past 8 o'clock. You still got a little sun out there, but temperature-wise, not cooling down. I mean, it's staying pretty humid. I think hydration is going to be pretty key. And you've also got now coming off for Batesville, trying to maybe stretch something out real quick, and that's going to be Jake Shornick, number 7.
And so, and the guys starting to feel a little bit here late in the first half. And, of course, that'll be interesting to see when the sun starts going down, whether that continues. And as you mentioned, the humidity not leveling off at all. But Padgett in at quarterback still, at first and goal at the 8-yard line. Padgett looks over the Triton Central defense, now hunkers down behind center. Back to throw, looking, and swings it out to Small on the left side, Small on the flat, but there is a penalty marker in the offensive backfield, and Triton Central says they came away with the football. So they wrestled it away. However, we'll hold the phone and see what this penalty is about first.
I was going to say, you had the flag, and Batesville kind of halted things up. Triton Central still says they have the football, and the official agrees with them, so you're going to negate the penalty, and then you take the turnover. It's a fumble for the Dogs.
So each team with a turnover apiece. And so Triton Central will have it with 25 seconds remaining. So a promising drive where Batesville is knocking at the door, blows up on the fumble.
And that's now for both teams in the first half. Penalties have negated a deep drive for both teams.
Yep, and of course, obviously the penalty against Batesville was wiped out in the offensive backfield.
And Triton Central probably does nothing here. 25 seconds, just go into halftime. You get the ball to begin the second half, and they're going to take the knee.
Yep, they're in that genuflect offense formation there. And Wilkins under center for the first time, I believe, tonight, and that's going to be it. And that should do it here for the first half. Don't imagine that Triton Central will need to get off another play. And both teams are going to go ahead and head off into the locker room. And we're going to go head off into a commercial break. And your score at the end of one half, it is Triton Central 6, Batesville nothing. Back with halftime activities after this 2-minute timeout. You're listening to High School Football on 103.9 FM and the WRBI app.
Franklin County Farmers Mutual Insurance at 125 Main Street in Brookville was founded in 1900. And they're not just for farmers. Get your auto and home insurance through Franklin County Farmers Mutual Insurance Company too. Visit their website at fcfminsurance.org. Looking for a local insurance company with local agents? Look no further. Franklin County Farmers Mutual Insurance. Not just for farmers.
In Ripley County, 1 in 7 children face food insecurity. That means weekends can feel long, empty, and uncertain. Through Turnover Hunger, the Batesville and Milan varsity football teams are working to change that. 1 turnover, 1 backpack, 1 child at a time. Join the Turnover Hunger effort to feed hungry children on weekends. Donate to the Ripley County Community Foundation, 13 East George Street, Suite B, Batesville, or online at rccfonline.org. Donate today.
You only have one smile. Make yours the best it can be with Batesville Dental. For over 40 years, Batesville Dental's provided the latest technology in their state-of-the-art facility. They strive to make your visit a pleasure. Doctors Broughton, Liedermeyer, and Roberts and their staff offer preventative care, Invisalign, implants, extractions, and cleanings to keep your mouth healthy and your smile beautiful. Batesville Dental, 391 Northside Drive, Batesville. You only have one smile. Make yours the best it can be. Batesville Dental.
Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep is a proud sponsor of local athletics. I'm Michelle Galk, and at Batesville Chrysler, we value this community and the relationships we've built with our customers. As your hometown car dealer, we understand the importance of staying connected to the community. We commend all our student athletes and their hard work and dedication. That's why we're proud to sponsor local sports coverage so that fans can stay connected no matter where we are. Remember, you can buy a car anywhere, but when you buy at Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep, we can all work together to support the future of this great community.
The most and best high school sports is on WRBI.
And welcome back to Triton Central Tiger Stadium at Mendenhall Field. And it is halftime in the season opener. It is the Batesville Bulldogs trailing the Triton Central Tigers 6-0. After a scoreless first quarter, it played out most of the way that way until 6:07 to go in the second quarter. Matthew Wilkins hitting Dylan Showalter with a 33-yard touchdown pass in the upper left corner of the end zone. The kick was blocked, and that's where things stand at the half, 6-0, about what we expected, a taffy pull, if you will, Rob LaFerry.
Yeah, absolutely. And we mentioned this is playing out a lot like how the game did last year, where there's minimal scoring. I'm a little bit surprised at the fact that Batesville's got a 0 on the scoreboard, though, because they do have some guys back. But it seems like because of the roster turnover last year, because there were so many different lineups last year, because of injuries, it almost just looks like everyone's just trying to get a feel of being together right now. Your offensive line has done what they needed to do, but the run game hasn't quite developed, although it did get better there at the end of the first half. Good run by Zayden Small, Dylan Shane a couple times, Ajon Herbert early, but then nothing much for him the rest of the second half. But, you know, you've got to be able now to go into halftime and say, okay, what's going to work? They had some promise there before the fumble, right before the end of the first half. And then defensively, I do think Triton Central right now, 6 can be expected, although you found out the benefit of having a senior quarterback returning in Wilkins, Kemper, Showalter, guys who have been down there and been able to make plays with the catch. Ball has had a really solid game so far with the run despite his inexperience. But again, offensively, they've had a couple opportunities. Penalties have negated. They let a ball drop through their hands early in the first quarter. So you've got guys who are experienced, you've got inexperienced. This is all part of the week one routine, I feel like, with just about everybody. But now you got to come in for the first time this season and say, okay, what can we do adjustment-wise? Something's got to give. And I think right now more pressure on Batesville because of the fact so many familiar names are there who are expected to be a lot more productive than what they have been so far in the first half.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, 10 returning starters on offense, and in a lot of ways, it's like the Cincinnati Bengals. There's pressure on them to do something of note this year. Same thing with the Batesville offense. The fact that they have so many guys returning. You got that offensive line unit is intact from a year ago, and now it's time to do it, or that's it.
Yeah. And I think something I mentioned in the newspaper this week doing the football preview for Batesville, something I had said was, at Batesville, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, cross country, whatever the sport is at Batesville, there is a standard for championship success. Obviously, Batesville football has a very rich tradition. We know for a couple of years you had a team go to the regional, very easily could have went to the semi-state. 2 years ago, they do win the regional. They just run into a really big-time buzzsaw in the semi-state against an eventual state champion. So, that pedigree's there. Last year, you're expected to maintain. It did not work out that way, and there was a lot of factors which led to them only having 3 wins. But now that's out of the way, now you got to get back to championship expectations. You've got to get back to the standard that you and a lot of other sports have set at Batesville. So it's going to be a grind. This is not going to be easy considering who you play in the regular season, who's in your sectional. But there needs to be more out of Batesville this season, or I think there's going to be some eyebrows raised about, okay, what's the next step going to be?
Indeed. And so with that, halftime activities continue here. We're now being entertained by the Triton Central High School Band and the Tigers again with that 6-0 lead. And speaking of scores, Rob, what do you have on the scoreboard?
Well, we just got our scoreboard updates for halftime, so let's run through the numbers. Just mentioned 6-0 Triton Central over Batesville at halftime. Start of the second quarter, East Central 7, Lawrenceburg 0. That was a 7:30 kickoff. This will be a running clock going into the second half. North Decatur beating South Decatur in the second quarter, 39-0. Last update we had from Milan and Rushville was 7-0. I'm going to check on that one during the next commercial break.
And that's the Indians?
Yes, Indians on top of the Lions, 7-0. Shelbyville leads Greensburg 20-8 in the second quarter. And mid-first quarter, already a strong start for Little Miami. They lead South Dearborn 21-0.
Yeah, of course, Little Miami is a program in Southwest Ohio, and pretty good. I mean, they had struggled at times, but they've gotten into the Eastern Cincinnati Athletic Conference along with Anderson and also Kings and teams of that ilk. Really good programs. I think it's starting to pay off. And granted that Rand Ballard's team had to take that long bus trip all the way to Morrow, Ohio, but still. You got to play the cards that are dealt, but nonetheless, Little Miami, that's a really good ball club.
Yeah, they're really strong. I mean, when you go to the Cincinnati area or even just a little bit away, I mean, whether you're a small school, whether you're the big schools, you know what football is like there. The St. X's, the Mollers, the Elders, who's East Central's going to have Elder coming up in a couple weeks before they embark on a really tough schedule. It's just one of those things. Ohio is well known for its football, and it's because of those football programs. I did get my Milan update. When we had the 7-0 score, it was early first quarter. Boy, things escalated quickly heading into the second quarter. Last update, Milan 29, Rushville 0.
Wow. And, of course, that one being played up in Rush County at Hinshaw Field, which we will be in a couple of weeks. So that'll be on week 4. So looking forward to that trip. But, again, be sure you check out WRBIRadio.com for all those scores. That will be later on tonight. And we'll get those posted for you on our website and also run down those scores for you as well during the morning sports report tomorrow. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take another 2-minute timeout. We'll set up the third quarter of the table there for the third quarter. And we'll have more on that after this 2-minute timeout. You're listening to high school football on WRBI. The score once again at the half. Triton Central 6, Batesville 0, back in 2 on 103.9 FM and the WRBI app.
At Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, we're good at insurance. But not just any insurance. We're good at when the forecast calls for cheeseball-sized hail insurance. And even shouldn't have parked under that tree insurance. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
See your local Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent, Doug Sherwood, in Greensburg. Call 812-663-3595.
When you schedule an annual wellness visit with your Decatur County Memorial Hospital primary care provider, you can receive the most up-to-date report on the status of your health. Your family medicine provider's care is a fundamental to staying well and catching problems early. Routine preventative care can help save your life. Schedule an appointment with your DCMA's provider today.
Hey, football fans! While Ivy Tech Community College doesn't have a football team, what it does have is your play to a great future. Earn a short-term certificate to quickly get into a high-wage, high-demand career. Earn your associate degree in a wide variety of programs for a more affordable transfer to a bachelor's degree. Classes are offered in person and online at the Lawrenceburg and Batesville locations. For more information, email r11express@ivytech.edu.
Simmer and sear with confidence using a Maytag freestanding electric range with 5 elements, including a 9-inch and 6-inch dual choice element, variable broil, and warming center. You can knock out mealtime in no time. The steam clean cycle and fingerprint resistant stainless steel finish makes it easy to keep clean inside and out. Shop Gehrings today. Gehrings and Maytag, 316 North Main, Batesville.
Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI.
And welcome back to Triton Central's Mendenhall Field in Fairland in western Shelby County, just a stone's throw from the Marion County line. As we get ready for second half action between Batesville and Triton Central, they host Tigers with the 6-0 lead. Batesville has some of their specialists back on the field. And Batesville in the white from head to toe, white helmets, white jerseys, white pants with the royal blue trim letters and numerals. In the block B on the side of each helmet, Triton Central with the white helmets with the TC logo in green on the side with a black stripe down the middle of the helmet. Green jerseys, white numerals trimmed in black, and the black pants. They have yet to reemerge any of their personnel. But Rob LaFerry, your keys to the second half.
Well, I think kind of touched on it there a little bit before we took the timeout, that I think for Batesville, number one is you've got to find a way to get this offense in sync. You've had Jackson Elston, who's been a really positive for you, but you've got to find other weapons, because you know that defense from Triton Central is going to hone in on him a little bit more. Maybe that opens up Dylan Shane, Zayden Small, Ajon Herbert, and that running crew. Does Rylan Yeager get opened up? Does Jake Shornick? I mean, you've got all of these options, so you need to be able to use them in the second half. I think defensively, I think it's more so what Coach Ulrich talked about in the pregame, just continuing to get stops, to make tackles. It's just some basic things, I think, right now for the defense. And then overall, and I think this is for both teams, find a way to sustain and capitalize on these drives that have put you in position to score the football. We said at halftime, both teams now have had opportunities, whether it's been a turnover, whether it's been a costly penalty. Now get those things out of the equation and see, okay, who's going to capitalize, who's going to make the least amount of mistakes. We know every single time that whoever does that is going to be the winner coming out here after half number 2. And for the sake of our coverage area, you're wanting Batesville to start out at 1-0 in the season, but it's still nonetheless a very tall task for the final 24.
Yeah, indeed, and in traveling on the road, and granted that Triton Central with a lot of shifting in personnel, also the head coaching position as well, but continuity there. The fact that Tim Kegley, a longtime defensive coordinator, but he knows the kids and is familiar with them and his personnel. But I'll tell you what, there's been times when they've looked kind of experienced, but at the same time, you're seeing that. Greenness, shall we say, from Triton Central.
Yeah, and I think you even go back to when you get whistled for the pass interference there in the end zone on the throw to Jackson Elston. I think that's inexperience. There's been times, though, where you've been led by Clark and by Bergman, guys who know how to play the game defensively. That's when you've seen some of that veteran dominance that Triton Central has had. But, I think the thing is, whether it's been inexperience at times that showed for Triton Central's defense or the experience, you have in the middle that Coach Kegley, who has not switched anything defensively, which is something you don't see a lot with a new head coach, even sometimes coming from the same school, because they want to develop their own brand. But Coach Kegley has said, you know what? it's worked. We've been a dominant team in Class 2A for all these years, even going past when Coach Abel had his tenure here. We're still talking about a team that went to a sectional championship game 12 straight years. So you can't blame the guy. Why change the defense? Obviously, it's working out pretty well.
That's right. You know what they say about if it ain't broke,
don't fix it.
That's right. So Batesville, full contingent back on the field, and Triton Central getting ready to reemerge as they come out of their locker room off to our left in that shelter area. I guess not quite a field house, but do see the concession stand over that way, the clubhouse locker room area off to our left. So looking forward to see how this second half plays out. And had a couple of turnovers tonight, Rob, and but nevertheless, Batesville and Milan involved with the turnover hunger program. And what can you tell us about that?
Well, as always, the Batesville Bulldogs, and I'll even throw in the Milan Indians on this because we'll talk about both next week, but they have pledged to make lots of turnovers this season. Show you're proud of those two teams and join the cause to turnover hunger in Ripley County by contributing to the Turnover Hunger program at rccfonline.org. Together, let's turn over hunger. Every time Batesville or Milan forces a turnover this year, money goes towards the Turnover Hunger program, which does go back to feeding local elementary children in southeastern Indiana. A simple donation of just $20 can feed one child for an entire weekend. And Tom, I know I say this every year, but being an educator during the day, I have seen that weekend backsack program in works come to fruition, and it really does benefit so many children who are having to go home without this program, without a guaranteed meal. We are helping a great cause. We're helping a lot of great kids in our area.
Indeed. So again, be sure to check it out, rccfonline.org, for more information or to donate. So both teams continue their warm-ups, and tell you what, we're going to go ahead and take a quick 60-second timeout, and we'll be back with second-half action after the 60-second break. Triton Central 6, Batesville nothing. Back in 60 on 103.9 FM and the WRBI app.
Visit your local Napa store, Vaguely Napa Auto in downtown Batesville. Browse their circular and check out their specials, like gallon jugs of Rain-X washer fluid, just $4.99. Select PB Blaster products, $6.29. 200 sheet boxes of Scott Shop towels, $14.99, and select varieties of Seafoam products starting at $8.99. You can do it yourself with expert advice and Napa know-how from the parts professionals at Vaguely Napa Auto in downtown Batesville.
It's back. Our delicious chicken bruschetta pizza is back. Cecil Eisen from Eisen's Family Pizza in downtown Batesville. The savory pizza with white garlic sauce, seasoned chicken, mozzarella provolone cheese, tomatoes, and fresh basil, all on our fresh in-house made dough. Come try this or any of Batesville's best pizza at 117 East George Street, IsonsFamilyPizza.com, 812-933-0333. Ison's Family Pizza's famous chicken bruschetta pizza is back.
Your free source for local sports, WRBI.
And halftime is winding down, getting ready for the second half, along with on-site engineer Annie Nunley and color analyst extraordinaire Rob LaFerry on Tom Snape. And it is 6-0, Triton Central on top of Batesville. And the Tigers will get the ball to start the second half. They won the opening toss and deferred, so they will get the ball and look to add to their 6-0 lead. Tigers will be going from right to left as we're looking at things here. And Rob, I understand you got a Franklin County score.
I do have a Franklin County score and an update for the Milan game at Rushville. Franklin County first half is up on Newcastle 21-6. And it's a running clock in the second half, or to begin the second half, rather, at Rushville. Milan at halftime leads Rushville 43-0.
All right, so a couple of running clock games, Milan and Rushville, and also North Decatur at South Decatur. So a couple of running clocks here early on in the season, this opening week of the 2026 season. And so Batesville getting ready to kick off. Ronan Post to do the honors, or check that, actually, that will be number 81, Cohen Flannery. So Flannery will kick it off for the Batesville Bulldogs. raises his right hand, approaches the football, and gets an end over run kick that's fielded at the 4-yard line. The 10, 15, 20, straight up the middle, gets away from one tackle and a few more, and there's a penalty marker trailing the play as he gets it out to the 31-yard line. As Kemper, the return man, but hold the phone.
Yep, good positive return, and that's going to immediately come back. And so Triton Central is going to be backed up, could be around, depending where they decide to throw this. Are we going to say maybe around the 20-yard line? That's where the flag was thrown, which would pin Triton Central back in a not-so-great position. And the Bulldogs will move up on defense, and we'll get the official spot. Didn't go past the 20.
So block in the back is going to be the call. And that's going to take the Tigers back to their own 10-yard line. So that's where the Tigers will start out with Triton Central, 1st and 10. They lead it 6-0, in case you're just tuning in. Our other game tonight on WRBI is Lawrenceburg and East Central. Rob Moorhead and Jerry Stenger with the call from Trojan Field in St. Leon. And under center is the quarterback, that is Matthew Wilkins. Rolls out to his right, looking, firing, and going to get it out to Kemper. Kemper all alone out in the flat, and finally going to get away from one man around the 38-yard line. He's got to streak down to the sideline and take it into the end zone for the touchdown. A 90-yard strike from Matthew Wilkins to Henry Kemper. And that makes it a 12-0 ball game, and do not see any penalty markers down.
Now, that was a great job by the O-line from Triton Central to give Wilkins that room. It's then a great throw on the run, and then to see Kemper then take off. And then it's bad luck on Batesville's part because you had a defender trying to chase, a second one coming up from behind. Well, guy number 2, who looks like maybe quick enough to get the stop, trips over his own guy, and that's going to allow Kemper to run the end zone. And now we're going to see a penalty called. So Batesville lucks out. I'm not even sure where that flag got thrown at. I never saw one hit the ground, but Triton Central's going all the way back to the 10.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. I mean, I looked around and scoured the field, see if there were any penalty markers down, and did not see one. But so nevertheless, it's going to wipe out that 90-yard touchdown strike. So that's going to make it half the distance to the goal on that penalty.
Just a big break. But then again, we just talked about this at halftime. There's another play. Penalty costs you a 90-yard touchdown.
Yeah, a couple of teams that just can't, at least in the early going, just not able to get out of their way. And there's Exhibit A right there. So half the distance, it'll make it a 2nd and 15 for Triton Central back at their own 5. 11:37 to go in the second half. Just underway here in the third quarter. The Tigers with the 6-0 lead. And a 90-yard strike wiped out by the penalty. High snap and off the hands of Wilkins. And back to one of the running backs. And celebrating is Zayden Small, but and deservedly so. But that had disaster written all over it for Triton Central. Landed ball with the fortuitous bounce into his hands, but he's still going to lose yards and take it back to the 1-yard line.
Well, Landon Ball was just lucky to get the football because
it really was.
On that hike, it goes off the chest of the quarterback.
Yeah, Wilkins.
And with Wilkins, and then picked up by Ball. And then at that point, you're trying not to get back in the end zone where there's a possibility for a safety. And that's when Zayden Small makes a tackle at the 1.
So 3rd and 18, they marked it at the 2 out of the end zone, operating out of the pistol, and hand it off to Ball. And he gets it to the original line, to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
See who comes out the pile for Batesville that time.
Tried to run it to the right side, but well defended by Batesville. Looks like Matthew Mayer was one of them. So 4th down, it's going to be a punting situation for Triton Central, and Luke Strong's going to be out of the back of his own end zone. He's got to watch, make sure that his heels don't touch the end line, or that will be a safety. So Batesville should come out of this with really good field position. Zayden Small standing back inside the Triton Central 40-yard line, waiting for this punt. Snap back, high kick, not a deep kick, and Small's going to let it bounce, and it will take a Batesville bounce and roll forward inside the 35. So that's where the Bulldogs will start out, 1st and 10, trailing 6-0, 9:51 to go in the third.
I was almost a little too close for comfort because I thought that ball was going to go off Zayden Small's foot.
Yeah, that was close.
But no, this is a good spot for Batesville. You're at the Triton Central 35, and now here you go. Can the offense make the adjustments from halftime? Can this be a drive that Batesville needs to get themselves on the scoreboard?
1st and 10 Bulldogs at the Triton Central 35, 9:51 to go. Bulldogs trail it by 6 points. And Calvin Paget and company break the huddle. Dylan Shane, the up man. Zayden Small dots the I. Yeager to the near side. Shornick to the far side, line up as wide receivers. Under center is Paget. He pitches it out, swings it out to Small. Small dances around off left tackle, and he's going to go forward to the 29-yard line. So a good pickup there of about 6 on the play by Zayden Small.
Looks more like Small. That's what Zayden does. It's just that little dance to get to the outside, and then boom, burst of speed. Good run, get to the 30, chunk it down in half a little bit.
So pickup of 5, they'll call it. So 2nd and 5 at the Triton Central 30-yard line. Paget under center, backs in the eye, single wides on either side, and he's got to hand it to the up man. That is Dylan Shane, and Shane bulls forward for 2, maybe 3 yards, gets it inside the 30, down to the 26-yard line.
Just a head-down run. Yeah, and just back and forth. Let Small be your speed. Let Shane be your strength.
Yeah, just throw those different looks at him.
That's what people say about us broadcasting. One of us is the strength and one's the speed.
Yeah.
Which one that is, no one knows.
That's up for debate. That's going to go on for a while. 3rd and 2. Batesville at the Triton Central 27-yard line. Handed off to Shane, tries to go up the middle, and well defended there, and that really did not get any momentum forward on that one. So stop short is Shane. So it's going to be a 4th and 2. And you know Evan Ulrey is going to go for it.
Well, in Triton Central, to counter, it's really going to beef up here because they're going to bring Rylan Stafford in at 280. You got Zane Ficklin in at 6'1", 225. And they're going to be right up there on the line. They're really packing things up there for Triton Central. What in the world was that?
It looked like a quick snap. And apparently that's going to go against Batesville. It'll be a false start against the Bulldogs.
I just saw a guy turn. I saw a football flip and a bunch of whistles. You just knew immediately that's a no can do.
All kinds of guys getting out of the starting blocks a little too fast. So it's now going to be a 4th and 7 Batesville.
And now you're trying to get a little speed on the line. So what do you do for Triton Central? You're going to go ahead and bring Kai West back in, 5'9", 230. Seen him burst back there a little bit tonight. Batesville's got options. You can try and run this football. You've had success with Elston out in the flat. And, I think possibly when you look at Batesville's playbook, do you start incorporating a little bit of what Hanover College does and a couple other teams at the D3 level? Do you start utilizing a tailback as a target in the flat and then use all receivers up the front as a blocker? So, again, options. What will Batesville do? You've got Elston lined up over here on the near side.
4th and 7 Batesville at the Triton Central 32. Paget fakes the handoff, play action, goes to the right and tried to hit the intended receiver. That was Elston, and he was immediately leveled as the ball arrived. Good defense there by Henry Kemper. We've mentioned him a lot offensively and defensively, special teams, and he timed that just right.
Yeah, you had Kemper who was around Elston. You also had number 5, Knox Cohen. Elston has it and then gets absolutely popped in the back.
So 1st and 10, Triton Central, they take over on downs at their own 32-yard line. They lead it 6-0. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Whitewater Motors, Hurt and Elko, Franklin County Farmers Mutual Insurance, the Ripley County Community Foundation, and Batesville Dental. Under center, operating out of the pistol is Matthew Wilkins, and he's going to send Kemper in motion to the far side. Back to throw. Goes over the middle and caught at the 45 by Showalter. He hauls it in. It's now a foot race, and Showalter is going to take it in untouched in the end zone for the touchdown, but there is a penalty marker in the offensive backfield, so that one's coming back.
And Coach Kegley is livid, and not with his team. He does not agree with the call here. Triton Central fans have been a little grouchy with the calls made, and it takes another touchdown away. This football's coming back.
Yep, 2 touchdown passes wiped out on penalties for Triton Central.
Both 60-plus yard touchdown passes.
You had a 90-yarder.
And that was about
61.
61,
60, yeah. Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Well, and then with the play, and again, the last time they just have a dead beat to the goal line and some bad luck on Batesville's part. On this case, with the pass, no offense to my guy Logan Schneider, who's one of my favorites I've ever had the chance to coach, but he's a freshman and was going up against a junior and experience won out that time, but then penalty happens.
Yep, so Mr. Schneider got bailed out on that one. So once they now get that the penalty marked off, get the chain gang set and the marker all set. So another 60-plus yard touchdown strike wiped out by a penalty. And now let's see what the holdup is. I don't know if it's an equipment or what, but we just got a hold up in the play right now. And it looks like both teams kind of headed their respective sidelines. And not sure what that's about. And they still haven't reset on the scoreboard the timeouts. I mean, they still have Triton Central with none and Batesville with one. That's carried over from the first half. Now they got it set up. It's like Joe Hendry, you say his name.
And we're still having a conversation about something on the field. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on. It looks like we got a player, looks like maybe in the end zone.
Yep.
That was part of that negated touchdown. So I think what they're saying is he's not on the field, but they need to try and get him back a little bit.
Yeah, he is just beyond the back line of the end zone, about 3 yards, I would say, but still close enough that he needs to be attended to away from there. So that's what that's all about.
Which the first half, we were never been able to see that because of the sun, but now it's down. We can see that there is a player down and another lower leg look by the training staff tonight.
Yeah, as a Triton Central player.
Meanwhile, we're back to play in a big run by Triton Central, who has the football.
And that is the ball carrier on that one was number 13, Landon Ball.
It was a 1st and 20 Triton Central. Then Ball makes the run and gets some really good yardage. This is 2nd down and doable for the Tigers. It's another big run by Ball, who has done that plenty of times this evening.
Yeah, they had the 2nd and 20, and it gets it out to the 38-yard line, still in Triton Central territory. So it's going to be a 2nd down. 2nd and 6, we'll call it. Tigers break the huddle. They will send 3 wides to the top side. Tigers going from right to left. Operating out of the pistol is Wilkins. Wilkins back to throw, looking, steps up into the pocket. He's going to run it. Gets away from one man and slides away from another. Gets it to the 50 and finally forced out of bounds. And Bryson Hageman chasing him out of bounds, but not before another first down and on the legs of quarterback Matthew Wilkins.
And we got a player needing a cramp rubbed out for Batesville. Good sportsmanship being shown by a Triton Central player to keep the leg up of that Bulldog. And now another player coming over for Triton Central. No one was able to make a tackle for Batesville defensively. That allowed Wilkins just to run all over the place. They've got the injured player back on the sideline for Triton Central from that personnel in the end zone, and that looks to be number 10, Dylan Showalter, who had made the touchdown grab for TC in the first half.
Yeah, that was a 33-yarder, 6:07 to go in the second quarter. So, but with that, we're going to go ahead. Let's take a 30-second timeout. 7:20 to go in the third quarter. Triton Central 6, Batesville nothing. Back in 30 seconds on 103.9 FM and the WRBI app.
A family-owned business since the 1800s, Andres Wiestefeld Funeral Home is there in your family's time of need. Nicole Wiestefeld is the family's 5th-generation funeral director.
Working alongside my dad, he taught me the importance of treating every family like my own. So I try to live by that philosophy every day.
They customize their services based on your loved one's individuality. With funeral pre-planning and online planning available, Andres Wiestefeld Funeral Home in Dover at the corner of Route 1 and North Dearborn.
The most and best high school sports is on WRBI.
Lance Weiler was the Bulldog who was affected by cramps for his second go-round tonight. So with that, 1st and 10, Triton Central at the Batesville 48-yard line. Wilkins out of the pistol, hands it off to Landon Ball. Ball goes right side, finally going to be wrestled down by Clayton Kaiser, but not before he picked it up and got it down to the 46-yard line of the Batesville Bulldogs.
And speaking of Kaisers, coming up hobbling to the sideline is going to be Camden Kaiser. And that's not something you would want to see. I think just maybe got tangled up. He's still on his feet, but you definitely don't want him out of the ball game, especially when it comes to the O-line.
So the older brother, Camden, the junior, walks off on his own power, but with a little hitch in his get-along. Operating out of the pistol and pitches it. And his ball goes left side with it. He's met by a pack of dogs at the 45-yard line, and they're going to mark his forward progress to the 44. But a lot of white shirts getting around Landon Ball on that one.
Yeah, if you want to talk about who made the stop for Batesville, you're going to have to list about half the roster. You had Limmel around. You had Gersbauer around. Vogelsang, Hageman, Blessing.
Yeah, that's
Annie, Tom, Brent back in studio.
Yep.
John
Heil, yep. So, and this is what we talked about, a lot of those stoppages with the cramps, especially as the night goes on, and the humidity has not gone down despite the sun going down. So Triton Central breaks the huddle. It'll be a 3rd and 6. Tigers at the Batesville Bulldog 44-yard line. They lead at 6-0, approaching the 6-minute mark in quarter number 3. Operating out of the pistol is quarterback Matthew Wilkins. They send Kemper in motion to the far side. Wilkins rolls out to his right, and he's going to run it and put it under. He's going to get out of bounds and duck out around the 32-yard line of the Batesville Bulldogs, but not before Matthew Wilkins uses his legs to get the first down.
Yeah, starting to show off with his feet. Wilkins was a guy last year that when he was in before injuries a couple times during the year, didn't run the football a ton. We saw them last year have a couple backs, one of which rushed for almost 1,800 yards. He didn't really have to run the football a ton, but he is starting to show off with his legs here in the second half, showing he's more than just an arm.
So 1st and 10, Triton Central at the Batesville 32-yard line, just inside 6 minutes to go in the third. Wilkins operating out of the pistol, and he'll hand it off to Ball. And before he could get going there, he was tripped up in the backfield. Excellent pursuit there by the Batesville defense.
Saw Matthew Mayer step in. The ball carrier got tripped up prior to, and now more cramps for Batesville.
Yeah, and the guy who tripped him up is the one who was down on the ground getting the cramp treatment. And with that, we're going to go ahead and tell you that tonight's game is brought to you in part by Batesville Chrysler Dodge Jeep, Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Doug Sherwood, Decatur County Memorial Hospital, and Bruns Gutzwiller.
It's also a chance for us, Tom, to get a scoreboard update in while we have the time.
All right.
Start of the third quarter, East Central leads Lawrenceburg 14-0. Still 39-0 North Decatur over South Decatur as that game has started up in the second half. Milan at halftime, 43-0 lead at Rushville. Shelbyville in the third quarter over Greensburg 20-8. Start of the second quarter, Franklin County, Newcastle. Franklin County 21, Newcastle 6. That's the last update. Little Miami was leading South Dearborn 21-0. That's the last update we had from back in the first quarter. The only game we don't have an update on tonight, Richmond and Connorsville.
So Caden Vogelsang was the one afflicted with the cramps, and he walks off on his own power to the Batesville sideline across the way. It'll be a 2nd and 14 Triton Central at the Batesville 37-yard line. 5:43 to go in the third. Send a man in motion to the near side. That is Showalter. Good to see him back in the game. Hand it off to Ball, and he lost a yard or two on that one. Tried to run the right side with it, and was immediately swarmed by the Batesville defense.
And we're going to go right back to football because everyone is still upright.
And we had an illegal shift, looks like called against the Triton Central Tigers. So that's going to back them up. Yeah, game of 2 steps forward, 3 steps back.
You know, we've talked about all these cramp mishaps tonight. Does bring me to a fact I found the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that during his high school football playing days, Garth Brooks on high school football Friday nights never went down with leg cramps?
Wow.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because he ain't going down till the sun comes up.
I walked right into that one.
Thank you. Thank you.
In the words of the poet philosopher Gorilla Monsoon, will you stop? Back to throw is Wilkins dancing around, and he's going to have to tuck it under and run out of bounds. And he was being chased by Clayton Kaiser, and he goes out of bounds on the Batesville sideline. Looked like he had something open downfield and immediately closed up. And so that's going to be a 4th down for the Triton Central Tigers.
It looks like Triton Central may just go ahead and punt it here on 4th down and pin Batesville back.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Well, kudos to Batesville, and again, penalties and a couple other things, but kudos to Batesville for still bending, not breaking. Whether they've gotten the help or whether they've done it themselves, it's been bend, not break, and it's still 6-0, and it shows.
Luke Strong back to punt and gets it off.
But it goes in the end
zone and out, and so that's going to be a touchback, and Batesville get it at the 20.
I believe they call that too strong.
Yeah. Luke Strong, too strong on that one. Bump. Don't forget to try the veal, folks. Drive home safely. Don't forget to tip your server. So 4:54 to go, and Batesville will have it 1st and 10 at their own 20 after the touchback on the punt, trailing 6-0.
And this will be a spot with Batesville. You're back at the 20. This will be a good spot to, again, get some consistency out of the run game.
So the Bulldogs break the huddle. Rylan Yeager comes to the near side. Jackson Elston up top. Bulldogs going from left to right as we're looking at things here.
Now, we've talked about Elston being your top target, rightfully so, because just, again, tall kid, athletic, can make the catch. A little surprised we haven't seen Rylan Yeager target a little bit more. Now, granted, though, I will say this. When you've had Henry Kemper on you most of the night, when he has not been on Elston, it's kind of hard to do.
Yeah, Kemper's done a good job to take away Yeager. Under center is Calvin Paget. Pitches it, and going up the middle and clogged up, getting to the 25, the 26, and that's about it.
That was enough of a bounce to get a couple yards at least.
Yep, and that was Ajon Herbert, the ball carrier. And you're listening to high school football on 103.9 FM, WRBI, Batesville, Greensburg, Brookville, Versailles. Triton Central with the 6-0 lead, 4:23 to go in the third quarter. Batesville is 2nd and 9, ball at their own 21. The lone scorer of this game coming with 6:07 to go. Back to throw, looking, firing left side, and caught across the way, but just beyond the sticks, out of bounds. Incomplete pass. So that will stop the clock with 4:07 to go before in the third quarter. It'll be a 3rd and 9, Batesville at their own 21.
Now probably forced to make a pass play here. Going to go ahead and bring Elston and Shornick over to the near side.
Under center is Paget. Backs line up in an eye, fake the handoff. Play action, goes, fires, and gets it to Elston. And Elston, beyond the 30 to the 32, is dropped there, but that's enough for the first down and then some.
Well, I think he learned because last time they tried to go to him, he got popped in the back pretty hard. He does a really good job there cutting back to the middle. He makes the grab. He gets hit again, but what he does really well is he just really pulls that football in and makes sure he's got it to get across the stick. So good catch, I believe now unofficially for Elston. He's up to 6.
And he is split far to the top of the formation. Rylan Yeager lined up in the slot, backs in the eye. Calvin Paget, quarterback under center. And got to hand it off to Dylan Shane. Shane muscles his way forward and carries the pile with him to the 35.
It's going to end up getting maybe 2-3 yards.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked like a rugby scrum there as he gets it out. They're going to mark him at the 36. So they're going to give him 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 7, Bulldogs at their own 35. Clock rolling, approaching the 3-minute mark in quarter number 3. Batesville trailing Triton Central 6-0. And they have Shornick to the near side. Elston up top. Backs in the eye. The up man is Shane. Paget under center. Fakes a hand and is going to hand it off. Delayed handoff. And getting to the 35, and that's about it. Not much going there. Ajon Herbert, the ball carrier.
Yeah, Triton Central really did not bite.
So that's going to be a 3rd and 7, Batesville at their own 35. 2.5 minutes and counting in quarter number 2. Or excuse me, quarter number 3.
Yep, and Triton Central now back to, you allowed 1 first down, but if you can force a 4th here, you're putting Batesville in a punt situation depending on yardage.
Elston and Yeager up top. Yeager will line up in the slot. Backs are in the eye. Paget under center. Fakes a handoff. Looking, firing, and going to roll out to his right. Directing traffic and finally gets it off to Elston. And Elston with a one-handed grab and rolls out around the 30-yard line. Just stuck that left paw up, came down with it, and a huge chunk yard all the way down to the Triton Central 30.
Well, and that is where, number 1, athletic move. You got the long arms. You can go out and make it, but that's also for him where his outfielder instincts kick in from playing high school baseball at Batesville, because he had time to be able to read the football to see where it went and then just take that step he needed to go make that dive out. Quite the grab by the junior.
And he is split out top along with Shornick. And Zayden Small dots the eye. They will hand it off to Small. He goes up the middle, spins off one man, and finally going to corkscrew his way all the way down inside the 20, down to the 17-yard line. And another good Zayden Small run there. And they're going to give him 13 on that one, but Looks like there is I understand there's a flag on the play. Nope. I thought, yeah, it was a piece of debris. So that'll be a 1st and 10 Batesville at the Triton Central 17. Small stays in, dots the I. They have Twins to the near side. Under center is Paget. He's got to pitch it out to Zane. Squirts away from one and looked like he lost his footing, but regained momentarily, still on his feet, and finally got to be dragged down behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Zayden Small lost his footing. To his credit, gets it back a little bit and still tries to dance around, but as that dance is happening, well, everyone decided we're going to go the far side and meet up with him. So now 2nd and 10. We may only see maybe 2 more plays before the end of the 3rd quarter.
42 seconds and counting. There's 16 seconds remaining on the play clock. So 2nd and 6, 2nd and 9. They're going to give him 1 on the play. Ball at the 16-yard line of Triton Central. Paget under center, backs in the eye, and he's going to pitch it to Small. Small bounces out to the right side of the penalty marker. That's going to come back as I was throwing the Batesville offensive backfield. So it will be a Batesville hold. It comes with 18 seconds, so we plod along to the end of the 3rd quarter here. But yeah, I mean, Rob, I guess about what you would expect in week 1. A lot of sloppy play there with penalties and a lot of mental mistakes.
Yeah, I would agree. Here we are, again with negating, an opportunity for Batesville. Oh, it's going to be offsetting penalties. So at that point, so I guess, tit for tat on that one. But, you're right. It just seems like the Yellow Hankies come out at a lot of different times. Batesville's in a spot again. You've got to capitalize. Nothing silly.
2nd and 9, Batesville at the Triton Central 16. Paget fakes the handoff, now gives it off to Herbert. He's got to go in the end zone for the touchdown. Little misdirection there from 16 yards. Ajon Herbert will take it in for the Batesville Bulldogs' first score of the 2026 season.
Nice job by Herbert. There's that burst of speed that we know he's got the potential for, and we saw it a great job by Paget after to really sell things, and it gave Herbert time to have that football and get his step and get his burst of speed. Now, for the first time in what seems like forever, we're going to see an extra point take place that has nothing to do with Brady Wannell.
And it will be Ronan Post, the 5'8", 140-pound junior. And that will be out of the hold of Jake Shornick. The snap back, the kick is up, and it is right down Broadway. So the Batesville Bulldogs take the 7-0 lead. 12 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. We'll go ahead and take a quick 30-second timeout. Be back with more in 30 seconds on 103.9 FM and the WRBI app.
We don't sell you cars, we help you buy them.
Fleetwood Chevrolet at 950 North Michigan Avenue in Greensburg invites you to visit them. They're here to help you with your next new or pre-owned vehicle purchase, as well as all your service and parts needs. They're the home of Greensburg's only drive-in service lane and free oil changes for life with the purchase of a new vehicle. Give them an opportunity to earn your business at Fleetwood Chevrolet.
We don't sell you cars, we help you buy them.
Southeastern Indiana's sports voice, WRBI.
12 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter, and for the first time, Batesville has the lead 7-6. A 16-yard run from Ajon Herbert. The extra point by Ronan Post was right down the middle, and it is a 7-6 ball game. Batesville with the 1-point lead. So Cohen Flannery getting ready to kick off for the Batesville Bulldogs for the 2nd time tonight. Of course, kicked off to start the 2nd half.
And now how will Triton Central respond, trailing for the first time this year? Batesville gets some steam, and that put a little momentum back, especially over on that sideline. Very joyous Batesville group across the way. Still a lot of time to go in the second half.
Flannery approaches it.
Boom.
And gets it off, and it is fielded inside the 10, the middle, and taken down just shy of the 30-yard line. And that was a 22-yard return by Henry Kemper. So that's where the Triton Central Tigers will start out 1st and 10. And they trail for the first time tonight, 7-6 to the Batesville Bulldogs. 7 seconds remaining, and another Batesville player with the cramp and being attended to by the Triton Central athletic staff since they were the closest by. And now Evan Ulrich going to come out and check it on.
Yeah, I'm not going to speculate too much, but that one may end up being a little bit worse than what a cramp is.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to try and get whoever it is up.
And now Tim Hall, the athletic trainer for Batesville from Margaret Mary Health.
So I think I know who it was. Evan Ulrich going to come out and be like, hey, we're going to check on this just a little bit more. Tim Wells comes out.
In fact, looks like Ulrich has the player's helmet, unless he's carrying something else. But yeah, I mean, the fact that Ulrich came out to see what that kind of grabs your attention.
You don't want to speculate. We'll get a number here, and I will tell you why. And it does look to be something maybe at least enough just to be a cramp. But that's Preston Blessing coming off. And I think partially here with Evan coming out, Preston has had some real issues with that knee. And so there's probably maybe some concern on the part. Hopefully it's not a re-injury of any sort, but Preston is walking off on his own power. Good to see.
Yep, and he's got that brace on his left knee, that big brace there.
So I mean, at that time, you're tending to the right, but, I mean, with those knee injuries, you don't know. Preston's had a string of bad luck. Guy who played travel baseball a few weeks ago and had a concussion because he got hit with a 90-mile-per-hour pitch. So, but he's a fighter. You know, he's going to try and get back out there.
1st and 10, Triton Central at their own 30-yard line. And under center is Wilkins. And back to throw, looking, firing upfield, and going over the middle and beyond his intended receiver. And he was looking to get Weston Smith, a 6 foot, 225-pound senior tight end. And just threw it beyond him, a little too much on that one, as we've seen on occasion tonight from Wilkins. And that's going to be the end of the third quarter. And your score after 3, the Batesville Bulldogs 7, the Triton Central Tigers 6. Back with fourth quarter action after the 60-second timeout. You're listening to High School Football on 103.9 FM and the WRBI app.
When it comes to you and your family's health, finding a primary care provider you can trust makes all the difference. At Margaret Mary Health, our providers aren't just here for you when you're sick. They're dedicated to being your long-term partners in health. If you're looking for a medical provider to help keep your family well, give us a call or visit us online. Our primary care providers are accepting new patients in Batesville, Brookville, Osgood, and Milan. Margaret Mary Health. Generations of care.
Go stream, go work, go game. No matter what you do online, we've got you. Great Plains Communications. Super fast, reliable internet built for the way you live, work, and play. Powered by our expanding fiber network, local call centers, technicians, technical support, and over a century of experience, we ensure your connection is fast, reliable, and stress-free. Go make the switch to Great Plains Communications today. And remember, for all the ways you live online, we've got you.
Your free source for local sports, WRBI.
Fourth quarter action underway at Triton Central as the host Tigers trailing the visiting Batesville Bulldogs 7-6. And it is a 2nd and 10, Triton Central at their own 30-yard line. Quarterback Matthew Wilkins out of the pistol, claps his hands, gets the ball snapped back to him, looks, fires to the near side, and his intended receiver was number 11, Aaron Kemper, but threw it to an offensive lineman on the bench area. Good catch by him, who said the big guys don't have the hands, Ryland Stafford, but So he was looking for Kemper along the near sideline. Incomplete pass. I'll stop the clock with 11:55 to go in the fourth quarter.
11-10 final. This was a year ago. Triton Central came down to the wire. And it looks like we may be heading back down to the wire once again. This is now would be 3 years in a row. This possibly, final score-wise, could be a one-possession game.
Yep, 2 years ago here was at that one, and that was a 7-point differential in favor of Batesville. Snap back to Wilkins. Flushed out of the pocket, rolling out to his right, looking, firing upfield, looking for Kemper. Kemper tried the dive, couldn't come up with it. And now he's a little slow to get up, but he, of course, landed on the football. It probably knocked the wind out.
Flag back in the backfield.
Yeah, there sure is.
And that's going to come back. They're going to call a holding against Triton Central.
Yeah, about what you would expect because of the way that Wilkins was rolling out, trying to keep the play alive, and that would stand the reason that somebody would hold. And Kemper walking slowly back to the huddle, got his breath back. And now we have sound like we have a personal foul called. No indication on who it's against, but it looks like it might be marked off against Batesville the way the umpire's got the football. Looks like he's getting ready to mark it off against the Bulldogs, and he does just that.
I'm not quite sure where that one went. Of course, our focus is going to be on over here on this near side because of the battle between Logan Schneider and with Kemper. But it is a personal foul against Batesville.
And good to see Preston Blessing back into the ball game.
He's going to come in. Camden Kaiser's going to come off.
So that's going to take the ball down to the 45-yard line of Triton Central. Tigers with the first down. 11:52 to go in the ball game in regulation. Single wides on either side. Operating out of the pistol is Matthew Wilkins. Senior quarterback claps his hands, now pitches it off to Ball, tries to the left side. Nothing doing there. He was chased down in the backfield by Rylan Yeager, and he's going to lose some big-time yardage.
And he had Zayden Small, too, so big wrap-up. We got a Bulldog slow to get up, and that clock is going to stop right now at 11:36 to 10 to the injury.
And we'll take this opportunity to tell you that tonight's ball game is brought to you in part by Ivy Tech Community College, Gehrings, Vaguely Napa Auto, Ison's Family Pizza, and Andrus Weistefeld Funeral Home.
And don't forget, for every Batesville Bulldog turnover force this season, Turnover Hunger wants your support to end food insecurity in elementary schools across Ripley County through the Weekend Backsack program. Donate tonight by visiting rccfonline.org. We've said it already tonight, but a $20 donation can supply 1 weekend's worth of meals to a single child in Ripley County.
And you, sir, have seen the fruits of the labors on that program.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, whether it's been, you know, over at South Ripley, whether it's been at Batesville, you know, it's been a great outreach program, a great way to supply our youth who are going home with meals to take care of them over the weekend before coming back to school and having that guarantee of a meal through the school cafeteria. So now we've got a Batesville player who is finally getting up, and it's going to be Zayden Small who's going to have to get a cramp worked out.
Yeah, he's being assisted by athletic trainer Tim Wells and also Dr. David Welsh. So,
if we had a player of the game, I'd probably give it to those two.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Batesville training and medical staff.
Good job, Trainer Tim. Good job, Dr. Welsh.
Yep. I concur. So once play resume, it will be 2nd and 16. Ball at the Triton Central 39-yard line. Tigers break the huddle, and Matthew Wilkins operating out of the pistol as he's done for much of the night. Fakes a handoff, rolls out to his right, looking upfield, firing, and going over the middle, and beyond the hands of his intended receiver down and around the 15-yard line. Tried the diving attempt, and just not able to come up with it.
22.
Yeah, that would be
Gavin Pruitt.
Yep. So Pruitt, a 5'11", 160-pound freshman.
There's, a whole host of Bulldogs down there. I thought it was a good throw by Wilkins, but, Pruitt just unable to make a little bit more of a leap, as he was probably more so focused on that foot race that he had to deal with all the way down in Batesville territory. You had Bryson Hageman around. I think you look at having Weston Smith around, Logan Schneider's around, Shornick. Just going back to protect. And now 3rd and 16, Batesville would love a stop because this pretty much would force a punt.
Ball at the 39-yard line. Operating out the pistol is Wilkins. Back to throw. Rolls out to his right. Under some pressure by Vogelsang. He's going to run and get forced out of bounds by Vogelsang at the 42-yard line is where they're going to mark him out of bounds. And that will force the punt for the Triton Central Tigers. So another good job by the Batesville defense.
Already got one game that is final tonight, and that is the North Decatur Chargers. They are a winner over South Decatur. Final score, North Decatur 39, South Decatur 2.
So the bucket will head up State Road 3, and will stay in the possession of Steve Stern's North Decatur Chargers. So back to punt is Luke Strong. Gets it off. High end over and kick, and it's going to go out of bounds around the 20-yard line. Rylan Yeager was back in punt formation. He just trotted over a few steps and watched it sail out of bounds, and that's where Batesville will get it with 11 minutes, 11 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Batesville clinging to the 7-6 lead here in the season opener at Triton Central.
Well, there's a couple things to say. Number one, fourth quarter, typically when you've got a lead in the fourth, you're saying to yourself, hey, take clock off. Take clock off. Well, they're still, 11-11. You can't be playing in safe mode because the offense hasn't been consistent enough tonight to be in safe mode.
And how many times have you seen it where a team thought that they were secure and they just went conservative and just sat on the lead and didn't try to aggressively build on it.
I'm not saying do anything outrageous, but still, go attack.
1st and 10 Bulldogs at their own 32. Padgett under center, backs in the eye, and we'll hand it off to Shane. The up man, Shane, bolts his way forward, and it's going to be tripped up around the 37-yard line. And we've got a Triton Central Tiger slow to get up, and now he's going to go down, and it looks like he's got a
County Bell game. Tom and I will be out at Milan. 6:40 County Bell game. Tom and I will be out at Milan. 6:40 pregame with a